Alex, I have a package coming from Japan,
Sure.
and usually what happens is that I'll choose how they ship it, and it comes from like DHL or something. This time they chose FedEx, and for whatever reason, every time they go with FedEx, the tracking site always says arrives tomorrow when this package just left Narita and needs to, I'm sure, sit in customs in Los Angeles for like half a week or more because I already have another package that is waiting customs already. So I don't understand what's wrong with FedEx's infrastructure that they would just tell me immediately, oh yeah, it's coming tomorrow. Don't worry about it. And I know it's funny because sometimes I do get things from Japan that come in like 2 or 3 days, but here it's just like nothing.
Is it possible? I mean, let's consider this. It's coming on a plane, right?
Yeah.
They're fast.
Yeah, but customs is what I'm talking about here. It's going to stay there in customs for a while.
Okay. Well, it just sounds like that answer came from a surly guy in customs who was asked, "Hey, when's Mr. Barnholt getting that package?" And he just very sarcastically says, "Tomorrow," because he doesn't know or care.
FedEx most certainly does not care. Yeah,
no.
They've definitely the pandemic happened and they just immediately got shittier, and it's just like been the same way for like 4 or 5 years now. Just like ruined them completely, and they were already on thin ice, if I'm being honest. Okay, but come on, they've just.
I appreciate your honesty.
Thank you.
I just had to shell out. I just had to shell out 12,000 yen to mail some documents to Texas.
Yikes!
Yeah, which I'll get into later in the show proper.
And what courier was that?
EMS.
All right, that's like related to the post office, right?
I don't.
It's like
I think that's a
Priority
Japanese outfit. Yeah. And the only reason I went with it was because they have tracking, and they're faster than just sending it regular. And I need these things to get there.
Right.
But that means, and I like, because now when you send things internationally from Japan, you can't just go to the post office. You have to first go on, log on, as they say, onto your computer terminal.
The information superhighway?
That's right.
It's the internet that's always on.
Yeah. Yes. You got to input your address and the recipient's address and the contents of the package. And then once you submit that, they email you with a QR code that you then have to take to the post office and then have scanned. And then that prints the labels for you, which it's convenient in that sense.
Oh, yeah. They love their QR codes.
Yes. But it is a pain in the ass. Like, because I've stopped doing it, but there was a period of a few months where I'd bring something to the post office to send, and I'd take it up to the counter only to be told, no, you have to go home and fill this out on a computer and then come back. And I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, I'm here now, and I have a pen. Don't know why we can't do this, but sure, cool.
Right, yeah. I mean...
But I get it.
Over here, we have our fair share of QR code things, to like when you need to return an Amazon package at the UPS store or something.
Oh.
But yeah, you can still go to the post office and fill out the forms. As a matter of fact, they would probably prefer that you do that because, the workers at the post office are the experts, supposedly, and they will be the ones to be like, helping the old ladies fill out the, the form on how to send the thing.
It's fantastic.
It's wonderful. Anyway, I'm just sitting here anxious from this tracking lying to me day in, day out, hoping if my package will actually come this week, perhaps.
What is in the package, if you can disclose this information?
A bunch of video game software.
Okay. So it's not like a bomb or something?
No.
Okay.
All right. It's not like... It's over 10 games, so I think maybe it would take some time to be looked at. I don't know. I mean, it's all there on the invoice too, right? It's all listed out.
Game by game?
Well, not like named, but yeah, it's automatically done.
You got Dynasty Warriors. You got Dynasty Warriors 2. Dynasty Warriors 3. Dynasty Warriors 5. Dynasty Warriors 4. Dynasty
Why are you
Warriors
going backwards?
6. I forgot one. Dynasty Warriors 7. How many are there? I guess 10 if that's what you got.
Well, yeah, you're not counting the Extreme Legends versions.
That's right. Oh, yeah. What is an Extreme Legends?
I don't know, because, those games are already pretty extreme.
Yeah,
Do they need to be more extreme?
It's such a broad term. I mean, it could, what is it? Is it like Super Saiyan Lu Bu? Because that's extreme, but what's also an extreme legend is like Paul Bunyan ripping a vape. You know what I mean? I'll play that. Is he in the game?
Ultra Instinct Paul Bunyan. It's No More Whoppers. Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Ray Barnholt, rotoscopist, and with me as always, keeper of the black materia, Alex Fraioli.
I'm just holding it for a friend, is what I have to tell the cops.
Yeah, of course.
And my mom.
They've come to the door multiple times asking to be let in, but you keep going on about how you have rights and you want to see a warrant and everything. And
I do. Holy shit! Hang on. I'm gonna get into this right off the bat. But
okay. You were arrested.
There's this lawsuit going on. I think three dudes are suing the Japanese government because they're fucking sick and tired of getting stopped by the police all the fucking time.
Oh. Now hold on.
Guy,
I'm presuming these are black gentlemen.
One is. I mean, they're all non-white dudes.
Oh, okay.
I forget exactly. There's one black dude. I forget where the other two are from. But yeah, one guy estimates in the past decade he's been stopped 70 to 100 times. And what I didn't know about this is because I was reading a New York Times article about this. They quote an Aichi police prefectural police training manual that specifically says if you see someone who looks non-Japanese or doesn't speak Japanese, you have to stop them and assume they have done something illegal.
Holy fucking shit.
Specifically says just go in believing they have done something illegal.
Oh my God.
And the Aichi police declined to comment, or no, they said they could not confirm they're still distributing this manual, even though the manual's from 2021.
Yeah, we couldn't find it. We looked everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe someone took it home with them. I don't know.
I was skeptical about this, but it was even on the news. It was on. I found a Japanese news clip that even quotes that. And I was like, oh shit! I guess that's for real. Or maybe they're just quoting what the lawsuit is claiming. But I don't know where they got this manual. But it's suspicious for the police to instead of denying, say, we cannot confirm that we still distribute that manual. Like, oops! I guess you just admitted to it then.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Come on.
Yeah. I know I haven't been stopped by the police in a while. It was a couple months ago I got stopped so they could help me determine who owns the bike that I own, and that was it.
Of course, yes.
Now I know which way to take home from work. There's a series of side streets I can take that the cops do not patrol, and so that's what I do. I know exactly how to get home without being stopped.
Great. It's like when you play a Yakuza game and sometimes they block off the streets because they want you to go in a certain direction. And sometimes the cops
exactly
are
like that.
At the edge of the blocks and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll talk about that later. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
anyway, welcome to No More Whoppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if that all works out to be accurate, then I hope the government does pay up.
Yes. Yeah. These guys are asking for, I think it was only 3 million yen in damages, but more important than the money is what they want is to just, hey, stop fucking doing this. Stop.
Right. You want to put a spotlight on it.
I think the article even mentioned that I think for a while, and maybe it still does, because of this, the American Embassy in Tokyo released a statement to tourists saying, watch out, you are being targeted by the Japanese police.
Oh my God.
Which I thought was kind of a cool thing for them to do, was actually speak up and say, hey, just a word of advice to our citizens who are in this country. They are straight up fucking targeting you, so please be careful.
Right. But also, the fact that they have to do that
is
insane.
Fun! Japan.
Oh my God.
Hang on, wait, where's my Japan drop here?
No, Alex,
that's a Japan. Hang on. All right, I got it. No, wrong island. There we go. Plot flags.
I'm listening.
Is that Fraser-san? Is that Crane Hakase? Hi.
Jesus.
All right, Ray, what's going on with you? What's new in Checks notes, America.
Tonari no Fraser. I think we should just. I think that should be our in joke. We just call every American sitcom that.
Okay.
As the
Tonari.
as the supposed Japanese version of it.
Tonari no friends. Tonari no wings.
Tonari no Shonen Sheldon.
Oh man, is it called Shonen Sheldon in Japan? I really hope so. Oh man. Yeah, the Shonen Pope. Yeah.
Okay, we're going too
There's
far.
all kinds of great. No. Oh man. Yeah, Tonari no SWAT cats. It's not a sitcom, I guess.
No, it's
I don't
not
know why I
really
said
a
that.
situation comedy at all. It's an animated series about SWAT cats.
That's right. You say that like people will know what a SWAT cat is supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, we just got done talking about law enforcement. Of course, people
Talking
know
about special
the SWAT
weapons
cats.
and tactics cats. Yeah.
No. Oh. JD Roth's on.
What?
JD Roth, Game Pro.
Oh, sure.
Oh, you were asking me what's up with me.
What is going on with you?
Oh, I'm having a packed month. Some of these things I can't talk about or don't want to yet, but
NDA?
yeah, things are personal NDA that I am enacting upon our podcast. Yes, so
Cool.
I don't want to talk about it. You can't talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. No, but generally, I'm just seeing a couple things happening this week and next. I can tell you, though, that because it is March, I think I'll be going to GDC in a little bit, in a couple weeks, actually. Probably already there by the time you listen to this podcast. I think they were in person for the first time last year. But anyway, yeah, they're back to having people come in San Francisco. And it will be the first time I've been there in 4 or 5. Because basically once I entered college, right, it was like, I can't do it. It's in the middle of the semester. I got to do what these old fogies want me to do and get an A or whatever. So I couldn't go have fun at the Video Game Developers Conference. And so now I can. But of course, because I'm not a journalist anymore, I had to go buy the cheap ticket, the nosebleed seats, so to speak. That means I can look at the expo floor and see what some AI bullshit someone might be peddling, or something like that, and a very select few panels that I can walk into. Not the big fancy ones where they get the Nintendo people to talk about how they made a Mario level. But should be a nice few days in the city. Just something to do. Just get me out of the house. How about that?
Well, I think that's the tops.
Yeah, and so
now, hang on, couldn't you get in? What?
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Couldn't you get in as press by? Can't you just write press on a little slip of paper and then stick it in the band on your fedora? Does that not work anymore?
Well, to be honest, I never really tried to fake a press credential anymore, so I don't really know.
You still got Crunk Games business cards lying around, right?
I don't know what they ask for. Yes, I have one Crunk Games business card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a shot.
No.
Do you want me to write a letter of introduction?
I don't think they take that either.
It's on its way.
No, all right.
FedEx says it'll be there tomorrow.
Fine. You can't call back the cold open.
Why not?
It's sacred.
Damn it. It exists in a reality outside our own.
Yes. You've breached the No More Whoppers convent. What? I don't know.
Oh, time is folding in on itself.
What's the word? Yeah. The precious fabric of the No More Whoppers continuum.
Cotton's the fabric of our lives.
Yeah. The touch, the feel of it, pretty good.
I'm wearing it right now.
Yeah. It's the best part of waking up.
No.
Oh.
You're thinking of Folgers.
Hey, sling me another cup of Folgers.
I had 2 cups of coffee today, which is uncommon for me. I'm going to slow down if this is too riveting.
What are you usually at? 8?
No, I usually just have a big mug and make a mug at home.
Oh, have a mug of milk a meal.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean coffee.
No, I actually had a voiceover job this morning. I had a rare morning record, so I had to
rare morning record.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I had to leave early and bike across town to record 5 questions for a test, which is I'm glad. Like this also happened earlier this week. I was in the studio for 4 minutes and got paid for the hour, which is, the way it should be.
Right. Hold on. Was the whole test 5 questions?
No, it was a listening test, and someone else read the listening, and I read the questions that come after the listening.
Okay, I see. So this was an educational thing. I mean,
yes.
as opposed to like, I meant like, as opposed to a school setting, more like truck driver license or something. Not
exactly.
Like that.
No. No, it's for a JUCO. It's just a listening comprehension test.
What'd you call me?
I don't know. What'd you think I said?
No, you can't put that on me.
A bozo? No, the woman was there who read out the whole thing. It was like 5 paragraphs of listening comprehension.
Holy crap!
She did it fine, but
of course,
I kind of felt bad because they kept the director kept asking her to redo sentences, and I'm thinking that was fine. I don't see what's wrong with that. And then I go in and I read off the 5 questions, like Kilborn. And I do it
yeah.
I just do it all in one take. This is not a brag. All in one take. I'm pretty sure I made a couple mistakes. And the guy was just like, yep, great, we got it.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, he played it back and it sounded fine.
Right.
So it was all just in my head. But I felt kind of bad for doing it so quickly. But I mean, that's all you gave me. I would have read more. It happened on Monday as well. I had a re-record. I did a record for Mitsubishi last week, and the slogan they had me read was, what's the word? Dumb? And I read it. It's not my place to edit their thing, and I read it as written. And then I got an email later that was like, hey, they want you to come in and do a different they came up with a different slogan. That's a good idea. And it was a 3-word slogan that I once again biked across town to sit in a studio for 4 minutes to record 5 different takes of these 3 words, 5 different readings.
Okay.
But you know what? I get paid for the hour, and that's what we like.
Can we hear the 3 words?
Mitsubishi. Why not?
Oh,
that's not what it is. No, okay. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Well, first of all, I know you said slogan, but I thought maybe these were 3 different words in a sentence. Like apple, bourgeoisie, crankshaft.
They're just going to drop into the script I already recorded.
Crankshaft.
Mitsubishi's new Apple factory in Hamajutsu. That's not even a place.
Factory. Let's hear that again. Factory. You get that?
I've heard.
You get that clean?
Fastory. Factory?
I can do it again. Just let me know. Get that clean? Thanks.
Awesome. And then I have an actual one tomorrow morning, which is a good old-fashioned dry industrial narration for a factory, an actual factory.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got factories on the brain.
It's all fun. Now, what's really fun tomorrow is that after the record, I have to then go hang out at the ward office for anywhere between 1 and 1,000 hours to get some documents.
All right. Well, say hi to Ward for me.
I will. Burt Ward, he's always there.
It's the only Ward any of us know.
Right? Wait, what about Heinz? Heinz Ward.
What?
He's a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, yes, of course. How could I?
Pretty sure there's got to be like a porn actor called Burn Ward, right? Do you think?
Berne. Burn. Yes?
Yeah. Bernie Ward.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm attempting to apply for my permanent residency again. I tried a few years ago, and I got rejected. And when you do get rejected, you have to wait a year before you can apply again.
I see.
Which is fun.
It's coming up.
It actually passed
it's
like a year ago. I was so busy with stuff I hadn't applied again, but all my friends are getting it. It's peer pressure, really. That's why I'm doing it. What I mean to say is most of my friends have already gotten it. And I've been here 17 years. Why am I the last one to get it?
True.
Why? I'm putting together documents. I got to go down to the ward office and get proof that I've paid my taxes for the past 3 years, proof that my wife has paid her taxes for the past 3 years, proof that we are married, a whole bunch of different things.
Okay. Jeez. Yeah.
Now, I'm also going down there because I need to get a couple of specific forms to do a company transfer. Now, we talked about this last episode, I believe.
Yeah. And certainly the ones before that.
Or the ones before that, yeah, where I gave my wife a company.
Last time on Alex, we were talking about the fact that you were feeling pretty much done with Critical Hit and the fact that, you were ready to close up shop.
That's right. But it turns out we found out that my wife can't collect her unemployment benefits if she owns a company.
That's
so
right.
Our plan was to just dissolve the company in June and then close the bar. Bada bing, bada, checks notes, boom.
Uh-huh.
And I met with my accountant to talk about this process, and he said, well, I mean, really, you should probably hold on to the company because it has such a huge deficit. You're basically...
There's that word again.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
No, I was...
Okay.
The deficit. Your accountant was talking about the deficit, and it didn't seem to actually matter.
Well, yeah, in terms of closing down the company, yeah, it doesn't matter. It would not cost me anything. But keeping it around is an advantage because it basically means that for the next few years, everything I earn will be tax-free.
Okay.
And in Japan, tax is pretty high, especially corporate tax. I think it's like 30 to 40%, depending on what you do. So yeah, this sure would be nice. It would be nice to get paid tax-free for a couple years at least. And so yeah, it would be a waste to get rid of the deficit when I could just keep it and earn tax-free for a while at least, and then maybe think about getting rid of the company. I don't know. I mean, it's very common for Japanese companies to operate on a deficit because the government's very lenient with what you can write off, which I think is just everything.
Yeah.
So I do that. I write off my lunch every day. Like I submit that receipt with all my annual stuff for my accountant, and he just says, yeah, he was at another business lunch at Mossburger.
This keeps getting brought up, especially by your accountant, I guess, that he makes it sound like it's worse than debt.
I think that, like, in a front-facing way, he has to tell me, don't run up a big deficit because it's bad, but also do because it's very advantageous.
Okay.
Like he can't just come out and say, do this.
Yeah, I understand. I guess like a doctor was like, well, I can't exactly tell you exactly what you should do, but
yeah,
as the patient, you must make your own informed decision.
Right. And my informed decision is, yeah, let's write off everything and just keep driving up that deficit because it's fine, as far as I know.
You don't even know what a write-off is.
But they do, and they're the ones writing it off. I have heard horror stories of people being investigated for this who go overboard.
Sure.
Companies that will make up, forge receipts to say, like there was a ramen shop I heard about recently that claimed that it had spent like hundreds of thousands of yen on napkins and disposable chopsticks. And then when someone from the tax office showed up to say, hey, where are those napkins and chopsticks? They just kind of shrugged and were like, I guess I don't have them, do I? But
the napkins,
all the receipts,
those get used. And we had a really good run last week. I mean, just people coming in and out constantly. We couldn't keep up.
It was Spilltoberfest. We were cleaning up a lot.
You won't believe me. We ran out of napkins.
They are a popular item.
And we were all so swamped, no one could go out and go buy more. We just had to keep serving people. It was quite a scene. Honestly, we had probably our best week ever that way. In fact, you could see it on our revenue sheet later. Bye.
Can I at least order lunch?
Yeah, what do you want?
Ramen?
Yeah, we're a ramen shop. We got different kinds.
Okay. Do you have any specials?
Sure, we got crab.
I'll take it.
Peanut butter.
That's it. I'll take it. That's a question I sometimes get at the bar and I don't know how to respond to is, do you have any specials? Like, this isn't a diner. What do you mean, do you have any specials? Like
at a bar.
Yeah, you know what? The chicken cordon bleu. Let me get one for you. What the fuck are you talking about?
I wonder if this is another example of someone not exactly knowing every single social interaction and just assuming that you can ask for specials at any kind of drinking or eating establishment.
Here's what I have. I have happy hour and you can get some snacks. That's it. Holy shit, do you have any specials?
Do you like kid cuisine? I got a few of those in the back.
You talking about Kodomo cuisine?
I shouldn't have laughed. That wasn't good enough. You got to try again.
Oh, man. God damn it. You're really making me work for it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so here's I'm not forging receipts and claiming I'm spending all this money to drive up a deficit. I'm only submitting real world non-forged receipts for things that I bought.
Right.
And that's fine and legal. And that's what I'm going to continue to do.
That's kind of what I do. Put my games that I buy on the expense roll or whatever. Right. And so, and we discussed this, I think, last time or previous episodes where, I sort of also do a deficit thing. And one time the accountant warned me that the government might view this as a hobby if I keep not making money or losing too much money. Probably based also on the fact that I was listing some games every time. But it was okay, well, they haven't yet. And apparently I perhaps have proven that I do run a legitimate business in some respects. So
nice. Very good.
I don't know. I'm not out there trying to shake people down or anything. I write my emails very professionally. I think that's good enough, right? I'll show them. If the IRS wants them, I'll show them. You want to see how legitimate I am? Anyway, I'm going too far. You were saying?
Dear Guy, have you tried my game? It may surprise you.
So the key thing here is that you are not going to close the bar just yet.
Yeah, right. Because the original plan was, let's close the company at the end of June because that's the end of the company's fiscal year, and that would be a nice tidy ending point.
Right.
Because it would mean I wouldn't be on the hook to pay my accountant for another year. It would basically be to save a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
But now, since we're transferring the company back to me to keep it around to help me save money while I do voiceover stuff and work domestically, we can close the bar anytime. And so I figured, why not use this as an opportunity to stretch it out to November 1st and make it a full 10 years.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That works. That makes perfect sense. On the other hand,
hi.
Do you find it a bit bittersweet because you seemed so ready to let it go?
I'm still ready to let it go. Just now this is giving it the time to prepare to let it go.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. You get a bit more time. Get all of your affairs in order.
And this is extremely silly because I think it's better to save money than to spend money. But, dropping more, paying for an extra 5 months of rent, again, is going to help drive up the deficit. There it is again.
Right.
Because that's all written off. So if anyone wants to make it, who can make it, you got till November 1st. Probably. I mean, the secret last day is going to be November 2nd, but that's going to be a private event. But obviously, look, if you're a gold subscriber, if you're listening to this, you're invited to that.
Okay, wow. That's pretty good.
You ding dong. It's going to be fun.
Well, hey, at least on October 1st, you can celebrate Canadian Thanksgiving.
I do that anyway.
Okay, well, you can make it extra special because it'll be the final Canadian Thanksgiving at Critical Hit.
Good. I mean, bad, but we will.
We're making yams.
That's right.
Japan loves them, turns out.
Oh, of course. They're delicious.
Yeah.
Now, this kind of coincides with me finally overcoming what I have referred to as my tax miasma.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, remember I was wrestling not with the IRS, but with a extremely shitty expat tax firm in California.
Yes.
Called Expat CPA. Do not use them ever.
Yeah, I think that's
yeah.
I think we figured that out.
I mean, look at it. Let me say this. Don't use them, I think, if any of your taxes involve a language that's not English. Because when I had the Zoom call with these guys, with these fucking knuckleheads in February, over a year ago,
right?
I said all my documents were in Japanese and was told, no problem, we'll translate them, just send them over. So then I did, and then I was told, actually, we can't. Can you do it? All right, thanks, guys. Yeah. And so I ended up doing it.
Terrible.
So yeah, just to summarize this entire thing, I told them I had come into some money thanks to Japanese business stimulus. I told the guy everything on the Zoom call. He said, no problem. You shouldn't owe anything. We can take care of it. We can get you current and get you compliant. It's going to cost you this much. I said, that's fair. Let's do it.
They were like, and what country was it again?
Yeah. Then fast forward to,
Did you say Britain?
Britannia. Remember the Ben and Jerry's flavor Cool Britannia? I missed that one. That was really good. It was like strawberry and chocolate covered shortbread. It was so good.
Sounds good.
So fast forward to like October, November, where they get back to me finally, and they're like, "Yeah, you owe the IRS $12,000." I'm like, okay, all right.
Yep, right.
Well, I guess I'm just kind of fucked. What am I gonna do? And like, just as a final, like, let's just confirm one more time before I actually dive into this and start the payment process. I responded to the guy, like, just to confirm, like, you guys know this was all stimulus money, right? This is not profit. And they're like, oh, okay, well, that changes it, because that's not profit. So, we'll redo that for you. And yeah, they redid it, and I don't know anything. But I almost paid the government $12,000 fucking dollars that I didn't have to, because these ass clowns did not write down a single word during my Zoom call. And I spent the next year reminding them piece by piece through my emails, this is my situation, this is what I need you to do, can you do this? Because it looks like you can't and you're not. And I think I mentioned this before, the only way I could even get them to reply at one point was to file a Better Business Bureau complaint, which kickstarted our dialogue again and got us across the finish line. Because holy fucking shit, do not use expat CPA.
Well, it's good to hear you've moved beyond it, and we can.
No, you know, my rage is incapable of moving past certain things. I think this is one of the things that I will maintain a background anger about for the rest of my life. Right. Just
coming up later on the show, fact writers and cardinal directions.
Go north until you can go south. No. This is gonna stay simmering in my brain for the rest of my life. Just quietly. It's always gonna be quietly in the background. This anger, because holy shit. But the good news is,
quiet. You sure about that?
Quiet rate. Are you familiar with a quiet riot?
Yeah, it turns out they weren't that good at it.
No, it's a very silly name when you think about it.
Yeah.
They also misspelled the first word in their song title, Come On, Feel the Noise, which I found crass.
Well, they could just be ignorant, uneducated.
That's true. They're not called Smart Riot.
Yeah.
That's my band. I'm dumb. Where was I? Okay, yeah. So because of this, I am no longer going to hastily sell off every game that I own. I think I am still going to sell the bar's stock of games, but I'm going to do this slowly over time. I think I still want to sell off bar memorabilia as well. And, just to folks who might be interested in having a piece of the bar to remember it by. Because I am diving into my self-employed, I guess I already was self-employed. I don't know. I hate the term content creator phase. What's a better word than content creator? Like, I'm a jackass who streams and does YouTube and podcasts. I don't know what to call that.
Content maker.
No. Years ago, Mo Rocca described himself with the phrase media gadfly, which I quite enjoyed.
Right.
I'm just kind of buzzing and hovering around all different kinds of things, you know?
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
You're no Mo Rocca.
No. God, I wish. I might just make business cards that say Professional Alex on them. Does that work?
Do what you want.
In much the same way that Paul F. Tompkins says that he does Paul F. Tompkins based content.
Right. And you're no Paul F. Tompkins.
No, stop reminding me who I'm not. What are you doing?
2 words. Stanley Tucci.
I'm not him either.
Theoretically, I'm your friend.
Hey, everyone, I love FF6. I do, though.
You're keeping that.
I'm no FF6. Oh, man.
You are keeping that one.
That's true. And I'm no Hironobu Sakaguchi. All right. So the bar is going until November 1st, November 2nd, if you're listening to this. It's a Saturday. Of course, we're ending on a Saturday. It's gonna be a grand old time, gay old time, according to the Flintstones.
Say,
yeah, they were gay. Now, and I want to thank. I want to toss out a humongous public thanks to Mike Wasson for helping me through the tax miasma, because Mike is what I would describe as a tax otaku who actually knows these things, knows a lot about them, in fact, and helped guide me through this terrifying process that no one should have to go through. And the most important thing I learned from Mike is that when it comes to like accounting and IRS stuff, you need it's like having an auto mechanic. Like, you need to know one or you will just get swindled. Like, if you don't know someone who knows the inner workings of this shit, you will be taken advantage of.
I suppose
because
so, yeah.
every place I tried to get a quote from online would grossly overprice. The first place I tried to get help from said it would their fee. They said their fee would be $12,000. Like, that's not even accounting for what I would owe the IRS.
Jeez.
And this goes hand in hand with what Google is now, what Google has become, which is just not a search engine. It's a website that recommends businesses based on your search terms and doesn't actually offer help or advice. So anytime I go searching for these things, I have to be careful not to do it on Google because it only returns high-priced, international accounting firms are like, yeah, we can do this for this many $1,000s. When it turns out what I need specifically for my situation is not necessarily as complex as that. It is a complex form, but I'm not a humongous, international megacorp.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy who happens to own a business and needs to tell the government about it or get fined.
Yeah. I have maybe the reverse problem in the sense that, well, if
in
you
the sense that the IRS has given you money.
No.
Oh.
Maybe. Well, we'll see. Just the fact that, like, if you go to some of the, let's just say TurboTax, and they'll say, oh, anybody can file for free or whatever, or hey, you can get a refund in 10 minutes. And it's always geared at people who have one job in their lives, nothing else going on. They're single or what have you, right? Like, that's like the base level version of a taxpayer, just a single person who gets one paycheck. And I am married, filing jointly. I have an LLC. My wife has a rental property and all this other stuff that has to get merged into one tax return. Yeah.
The other thing that fucking infuriates me about the language that's used by the IRS is this assumption that everyone in the world is American, because when I file, I have to choose between married filing jointly or married filing separately, and I choose married filing separately because my wife doesn't need to file.
She's separate
US
from this
taxes.
country, yeah.
But then I get, the next, I use a site called, was it expatfile.tax? Sounds like a scam, actually pretty good. And they just do it. They take you through it question by question, and the question is, are you married? Yes. Are you filing separately or jointly? Married, filing separately, I guess. And then the next question is, oh, so has your wife prepared her tax return to send to the IRS? And I have to be like, no, because she's fucking Japanese. She doesn't need to.
It's in your name. Expat.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, everybody's American. It's the high school sweethearts who have been married for 15 years, just decided to move to Guam and have their 2.5 children. Yeah.
It sucks. I used to use a site called expatfile.tax, which I would continue to use if I didn't have to worry about filing this complicated form for the company, which I don't know what I'm going to do going forward, but because now I don't have to backfile. I'm, in theory, I mean, this is assuming that, they receive these 3 years of tax returns and they accept them and they forgive the fact that, hey, look, I didn't know. Because I'm doing something called a streamlined foreign offshore procedure, which basically means...
That was a gameplay mechanic in Metal Gear Solid 5, right?
I was not a fan.
Yeah.
It basically means, look, I'm living overseas. I didn't know about your shitty requirements that you seemingly just made up, but I'm trying to get compliant. So here's everything I think I need to get compliant. Please be nice to me.
I'm
Please,
willing to play
yoroshiku.
ball. Yeah.
Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Yeah. It's like I'm willing to play ball after you just cracked me in the back of the fucking skull with a bat. Yeah, sure, I'll play, I guess. I guess I have to now, ass.
That's the terrible part of a lot of this, not just tax stuff, but a lot of things in the government or wherever, where you have no idea of how it works, but you're going to get punished, and regardless of the fact that you generally did not know.
Yes.
Sort of in the same way how you can be an accomplice to a crime that you didn't really know what was going on. But
that's why we have the Good Samaritan law. It put 4 of my friends in jail.
It's like, look, Mr. White just hired me at his car wash. I was just a part-time employee.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
But yeah, that's been my past few years, but specifically the past year has been that very focused kind of malaise, that feeling of like, I could get completely fucked for something I didn't know about, but I'm trying to fix it. But I don't know how, because this isn't a very common problem and no one seems to be able to give me any clear or straight answers about anything.
Yeah.
And I think, I hope it's okay now, because when I talked to another account about this, he said, yeah, I mean, the best case scenario is, you send these things off to them and they just put them in a binder on a shelf somewhere and they never get seen again by human eyes. That's, they're not going to respond to you to say, we're all cool now. Yeah. I just have to live the next 3 years in fear that they're not going to call me on anything. Because I think that's how it works, is once you submit things that you're supposed to, like all your tax forms and everything, like if the IRS doesn't say anything about them for 3 years, you're fine, usually.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay.
I think there's certain cases where it's more than that. But
I mean, I think it all comes out of the fact that, hey, at least you're not running for office, in which case then you might be fucked after the fact.
God.
Once people start looking at your tax returns.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why it cost me 12,000 yen to send these 3, because you have to mail them separately. It's 3 years worth of returns mailed separately, which it's 3,900 yen each. And I thought for a moment I could get away with just paying the 3,900 yen once, because I went online to make the shipping labels, and it was group them into a shipment. And I did. I labeled them as 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. And I was like, oh, maybe, because I put in the combined weight and it still said 3,900. I'm like, oh, maybe I can, maybe they'll just charge me for, because it's one group. It's not, But no, of course, they charge you individually.
Great.
Good stuff. They're good. They're in the mail. I'm so happy it's done, and I hope it stays done. And yeah, don't ever get behind on this shit. It's the worst.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks again. I will ask you more questions. Don't worry.
Well, hey, I can give a tax update from me.
Oh, go.
So I've talked about this before, how in this state, at least, if you're an LLC, you have to pay the state $800 a year. And that means also filling out a separate form as part of your tax return and then sending that thing. I mean, it's not really a tax return, but I guess they do call it that. So it's let's call it a voucher. And last year when we did our taxes, I thought the accountant had filed that thing for us, because I got an e-file confirmation that I believe included the California voucher thing. It did not in the end. And so basically the state, the tax board, will then penalize you a fee every month that you don't pay up or file it or whatever. It's a combination of not filing and not paying. So, and I've been trying my best to take notes on every single year that I've done this and see if I can nail down the exact method and tell myself in a text file, hey, idiot, do this. We're not there yet. I think we are, maybe. But I still had to remind myself of some stuff in the end. But anyway, yeah, the twist this year was that I did, even though I had no exact confirmation earlier in the year that it was sent or not, I did at least pay it. Because you can do that at least. You can go online and pay it to your account, essentially. You can just give them the money and it'll just, show up on your balance. And then later I find out, okay, they didn't actually send it. I just got to go print this out and send it in the mail. So the tax board finally gets it. And I get a slip of paper in the mail from them a couple of weeks later. And I'm like, oh my God, here it is. What am I going to owe them? Here it comes. And it turns out, hold on a second, I'll go get it.
Oh, fun. Okay. I'll stay here.
One size fits all.
I can hear you.
Oh, I sure love that, Ray.
I got a wireless earbud now.
I like watching them play Cool Borders too.
Okay, so anyway, the lucky break was that I get this document called a zero balance refund return information notice. We found a mistake on your return and made an adjustment as shown below. Based on these changes, you do not have a refund for this taxable year. The table below describes the adjustment, blah, blah, blah. It lists something, payment balance. As revised, $1,600. Next line, tax and fee due, $800. As revised, $0. Next line, overpayment, as reported on return, $0. As revised, $800.
Wait, what?
Total tax, $800. Total credits and payments, $1,600. Amount credited to estimate tax, $800. My balance is 0.
Oh, okay.
So they did, in fact, recognize the fact that I paid it before I filed it. So,
okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's good.
Yeah, that is good. It nonetheless is annoying. And, well, the other good thing is that I didn't have to pay any interest for the months that I did not pay it. It was like 8 months or something.
Oh, boy.
And it's not like $800 every month, but it would have added up, I think, to maybe almost 200. So anyway, apparently I'm okay now, and I need to make sure that I document the process properly this time, and maybe this year it'll all work out. However, I am still going to ask the accountant to see if they can possibly file it for me.
Of course. I have to pay a similar thing. I have to pay $70,000 a year to the prefectural and national government. I think it's like $50,000 to the prefecture and $20,000 to the country, or vice versa.
Yeah.
That's just the cost of doing business. That's the minimum tax I have to pay.
It literally is the cost of doing business.
It sucks.
Wonderful. Well, this has been a fine discussion between two 40-year-olds.
Yeah, boy, I'm really sorry, everybody, that we front-loaded the show with tax talk. That's not representative of what this show is. I mean, in a sense it is, because we're venting about horrible shit that's happening to us, but it's sorry.
Let's just recap the important thing. The bar's not going to close for a few more months.
That's right.
Alex is still in business there. So,
yep.
Yeah. All right. Good. Let's take a break.
Let's do it.
We'll be back with more
Pilot Wings!
Folks are back. It's No More Whoppers. I'm Ray. That's Alex. Let's get away from all that paperwork talk and talk about the other thing.
Play.
The other thing we pretend to be experts in, and that's video games.
Give me an example.
Of Ivan Iron Man Stewart's Super Off-Road.
All right. What does the AM stand for in RC Pro-Am?
Amateur.
Amateur. Okay, so it's radio-controlled professional amateur?
Yeah, a Pro-Am is like a mix of pro and amateur competitors.
So this is describing someone... Okay, so it's a mix of competitors, so it's okay.
Like co-ed.
Well, the pros are going to walk all over them.
Right.
All right.
Oh, actually, I want to step back to GDC talk.
Sure.
I want to let you know, Alex, and this has been the case, and I needed reminding of this. I looked it up. They say press registration for GDC is by invitation only.
What?
For members of the press who are newer to the video game /tech beat and wish to receive an invitation to register for a press badge, please contact the press team and be prepared to provide the following credentials: 3 editorial published pieces that you have authored within the past year relative to the game industry, blah, blah, blah. Your business card at the media outlet you are representing. Okay, so that's one that we have. We have the Crunk Games business card. An assignment letter on letterhead from your assigning editor /producer. Alex, do you know what that is?
I do, but who uses or has letterhead in 2024?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe GDC has used this text for the press site for like ever. So,
okay.
But also then it says, for blogs, podcasts, YouTube channels, and streamers, you will need third-party verification of the count of your monthly visitors, readers, or viewers /listeners. So the implication is you would need any or all of that. No, probably all of it. Yeah. How about that?
And Okay, I mean,
again, have you ever gotten an assignment letter aside from a guy saying, "Hey, would you like to review this?"
on company letterhead? No, and I and I was doing it as far back as 2003.
Yeah.
So absolutely not. Here's what I did get: a bunch of emails that say, "Do you have a chipped PS2?"
Yeah, I only have emails.
Or here's a news story about Taito that no one wants to write. Will you write it? Yes, I will.
And so, previously when I've gone to GDC as press, it was 1UP, and it was just like, I didn't have to do anything. It was just like, hey, we're all going to be at GDC. Here's your pass. So, or it was like, yeah, give us your name or whatever, and we'll make sure you're on the list to get a pass. So I never did it independently, is what I'm saying. And that's also why I've not gone consistently as well.
You know what'd be funny though is if we actually made up some crunk letterhead and you made a physical letter, or like I wrote it to you, like I'll pretend to be your signing editor and be like, Mr. Barnholt, we need you at GDC. It's urgent. Please go on our behalf.
Yeah. Alex, need no star RM pick. Love Ray.
Need no star RC Pro Am.
Need no am meaning.
Amateur. That's us.
Folks, don't forget our Patreon bonus podcast, Game Site About Nothing, the Grunt Games podcast. We will talk all about us being weirdos on a video game website.
That's right. Yeah, I'll go with you. I've never been to Games Done Quick with a C. What's it stand for? Game Developers Conference.
Yeah. No, you don't need to.
I was going to try to get to, what's the one in Kyoto called? Bit Summit. Is that the one? Yeah. I was going to try to get to Bit Summit this year, but the bar is still going to be open, and it's our last year, so I'm probably not. But next year, starting from next year, I would like to be a regular fixture at Bit Summit. I think it sounds like a fun time. I want to hang out with cool video game people that I don't get to see.
Oh yeah, it is more of an expo type thing anyway. So yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in November, huh?
Oh, is it?
Okay, no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Damn it. Were you thinking of Thanksgiving?
No, I was thinking of entries. They want people to enter in November, and it will then proceed in July. Yes.
I see. Oh, it's in July.
It is actually in July, yeah.
It's too hot.
So they say.
Well, they better do it indoors this year.
Okay, video game software. What
are you playing?
As mentioned before. Well, I did start and then finish Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
Fun.
The 8th mainline game in the Yakuza series. I think it was a good time overall. I do want to re-bring up something that I talked about, I think, before the game came out. The director was saying stuff about how, this is a great beginning. This is a great jumping on point, essentially. We welcome all newcomers to the series. This will be a great experience. Please look forward to it, etc., etc. And this was after these trailers came out, which spoiled a whole lot and told you enough where it was like, are you sure about that, dude? Because, well, as we all know, I think from seeing the trailers and even just promotional images, we know it's about Ichiban Kasuga and Cosmic Kiryu coming back. And so Kiryu is like a full half of the game, him being a slightly older man and getting through it and all that stuff. And after playing the game all the way through, someone still might come up to me or you or someone and say, hey, is this a good jumping on point for the series? I'm finally going to jump into the Yakuza games. I really want to play it. Is this a good one to start with? And I would say, absolutely not. I mean, you absolutely need to know about the previous Like a Dragon, at least.
Oh, dear.
I don't care how you do it. You can play it. You can watch a full game video of it, but you kind of really need to have some knowledge of the story and maybe even some investment into the characters to really get the full impact of what is going on, because it starts and runs and then ends with just you needing like a whole lot of knowledge from not just the previous game, but also like any of the Kiryu based games.
Yeah, I thought for a second that there was something important that I missed, because when you were explaining it, I thought for a second that you called him Cosmic Kiryu, which that's some Marvel level shit if that was an actual development that I completely missed out on.
The Ascension of Kiryu.
I've not finished Lad yet, but I will get to it eventually, because I do want to play Infinite Wealth at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course I don't want to spoil it too much or anything, but I will say that, yeah, with the game that features Kiryu kind of prominently, maybe you should also have some idea of what's been going on with Kiryu and maybe some of the characters in his games, you know?
Yeah.
But also the main plot line is about Ichiban going to Hawaii to find his mom, essentially, and so that becomes a whole nother thing. But also I was reading up on other people who would finish the game and what they thought about it. And I think like more than a few people didn't like it. And a lot of people were saying that the story wasn't that great. And that it was really just not as good as any of the other ones. Now, generally, of course, this is the public we're talking about. And so we get a very nice mix of people who say, oh, it's the best one ever. And people say, no, this one totally sucked. What were they doing? And what I thought was, yeah, in the end, the story was kind of straightforward. And I think that is also because it's kind of bloated. Not kind of bloated. It's way bloated. You end up having 10 characters to essentially care about. And I think it's like the Avengers movies in that way. You have to write a whole bunch of scenarios, keep track of all of it, and just generally, again, have 10 characters or more to worry about. So in that sense, the story, which I thought was going to be maybe a bit more complicated and intense, on the whole was kind of, like I said, straightforward. There are other games in the Yakuza series that I think have a bit more complexity in the story structure, a bit more twist to it. And some of the twists in this story are just kind of like cheap little deceptions that happen in a split second. Like, oh, you thought this, it was actually this. And I don't think they were quite as ambitious as they wanted you to think, other than the fact that, yeah, you go to Hawaii and there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens in Hawaii. But on the whole, it doesn't turn out to be anything as special.
Are you saying there's like a bunch of instances of the plot like pulling cute little gotchas on you? Like, we tricked you. You thought it was going to be one thing, but it was another.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not a lot of those, but
Yeah.
certainly in like once the drama starts increasing and things get a little bit more serious, it's just like pulling shit, or it's just like, you didn't have to do that. You could have just kept the story going and not make it seem quite as laughable.
Yeah. I'm still in the middle of making this YouTube video about indie RPGs, but that's something that Chained Echoes does at one point, is it like just kind of fools you, it lies to you, but like technically it's not a lie, but the reason for it happening is super dumb and doesn't feel rewarding in any sense. It's just a stupid decision. It kind of bugs me when games do that. Like, it doesn't serve any purpose other than, haha, we fooled you. Isn't that cool? No. It's like when a 6-year-old lies to you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so what was your plan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you got me.
Exactly. It's some real, like, I guess you would call it like 1966 Batman moments.
Oh.
Like, oh, great, yeah. That kind of response. Now, I don't want to be too down on it. There are a lot of people who are saying, oh, this is the worst one. This sucked. I'm done. It's like, no, I don't feel like that. I think it was a good experience overall. I'm just glad to see that story continue and a lot of those characters come back and everything. And the Hawaii stuff was pretty interesting. It's going to be also interesting to see if they make a third Judgment game that might be using the Hawaii map. But
J3!
Yeah. I mean, they did do what they have done with the Japanese city maps, is that they basically took like a real life chunk of Honolulu and just reconfigured it a little bit, compressed it a teensy bit, changed all the street names to fake names and everything, but made it look as much like the real, like Honolulu Main Street or Boulevard or whatever as they possibly could. So And by the way, I checked this. I went to Google Maps. I looked at Honolulu. I was like, oh yeah, there it is. It's a little bit more diagonally than the map in the game shows you, but yeah, that's it. And it's fun. And it was a giant map that is full of things. As I probably talked about last time, because it's like the Yokohama map was spread out a bit too thin in terms of like giving you stuff to do. But Hawaii, they packed it.
Yeah, that's kind of been my feel of running around Yokohama, is that there's not really enough stuff. Like the stuff is there, but yeah, like you said, it's all just kind of spread out a little too thin. It's fine, I guess.
And the fast travel is a little more instant, although you still have to. Well, I guess in the previous game you had to open the smartphone to call the taxi, but this time you can just open the map, point to a spot, and say, "Hey, you want to take a taxi here?" Yeah,
very nice. Yeah, we're breaking down the layers of make believe.
Yeah,
like no, just bring me there.
And I do think the gameplay is generally better. I did go back to the previous Like a Dragon a little bit, and there's little things in that game like picking up items off the ground. It just feels like you get a dead stop every time you do it because it prompts it on screen and everything. And in Infinite Wealth, you can pick things up now without much interruption, and you could walk through fucking shrubs, which is great. You don't have to.
Cool. I fucking hate shrubs.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you can just walk right through them this time.
I'm not even talking about the game.
Yeah. I'm bringing my shears out. I'm going crazy. I'm not down with that.
No.
You and I both don't like the enemies moving in battles. And
correct.
I can say I didn't recall encountering it as much in this game.
Oh, good. Okay.
But I think nevertheless, being able to move in that circle before choosing commands now, and then seeing the chevrons that show where you're aiming an attack and where it's going to go, that still kind of helps. Maybe that's a contributing factor to the fact that I don't feel like I got a lot of that frustration from guys moving around as much. But
guys, we'll be moving.
Maybe in the future your experience will be different. I'm not sure, but
we'll see.
Yeah, it was an all right game. I think if you are invested in this series, of course you should play it. If you want to jump into the series, I mean, this one is basically a real, I wouldn't say turning point, but it's like you gotta like, this is the dividing line. Like you have to play at least a few more before this one, I would say. Or again, just absorb them somehow, whether it's in videos
watch the clip show.
Yeah, or long summaries or something, yeah.
Yeah, watch the clip episode. Watch the clip episode where Kazuma and Kiryu wake up and
Kazuma and Kiryu?
Kazuma, yeah. Remember when that one guy was separated into his constituent elements? It was two children.
Like Tuvix?
Yeah, when those two children get into a trench coat, they become Kazuma Kiryu.
Oh, I see.
No, sorry, I meant to say Kiryu and Ichiban. Remember that clip show where they woke up and it was a Saturday and they thought there was school, but there wasn't, and they went out to play and they hit their heads and they saw images from previous episodes? Watch that and then play Infinite Wealth.
By the way, that's like the beginning of Yakuza 6.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like a dream state sequence where Kiryu is like unconscious or in a coma or some sort of thing. And you just walk up to these, dead-eyed characters from his past and be like, oh, yes, this is Taichi, the kid at the orphanage. I remember him, yes. We had a lot of fun times together.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then you walk into the light and you're all good. Everything's fine. And
wow, Kiryu heading towards the light.
Right. That was back when we thought that was going to be the last Kiryu story game. But no.
Kiryu Elazon, is that anything?
Excuse me?
Never mind.
I don't get
somebody will enjoy that.
No, but
so wait, are you saying I can just play 6 and absorb most of the important beats from 1 through 5 from that intro?
Huh. Yeah, well, not that intro necessarily, but maybe a bulk of 6, or at least like the first third of it, I would say. Because 6 does, of course, pick up right after 5. But 5 is just like, okay, yeah, Kiryu has the final boss battle and he gets really beaten up and I guess he is sent to the hospital, right? And then that's where 6 basically opens up.
Wait, what's the one where they have to drag the bank vault from chains that are tied to their cars on that runway in Brazil, and they have to get it onto a plane?
I think you're thinking of Fast and the Furious?
Is that? No, come on, let's be serious.
No, Furious.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do mix them up a lot. I don't know. It all runs together to me, but then I've only really played half of the first one, maybe 20% of Ishin, and I don't know, 40 to 60% of 7. So I got a lot of gaps to fill in.
I was a latecomer to begin with, and it was like I kept hearing these games are good, and it's like, well, as a lover of Japanese games, and perhaps Sega in particular, I know I'm doing myself a disservice by not playing all these. And so I just was basically waiting until 0 came out, and just started there. Went 0, 1, 2, 3, and on and on. And yeah, I did it, and it was very good, and I feel accomplished, I guess. But nevertheless, I am a fan, and so I do think... And this is a game for the fans. I don't care what the director says or anything. This apparently came up a lot with FF7 Rebirth lately too, where the people in charge or some of the developers, somebody related to promoting that game was like, "Yes, this is a great time to jump in." It's like, no, no.
On part 2 of a remake is a great time to jump in. Go fuck yourself.
But you know why they say this?
What are you talking about?
It's because they need people to buy it and.
Yeah, it's because they need sales. Like, idiots will say it about... I'm not saying Square Enix are idiots, but, like, people will say it about any game. Like, oh, yeah, it's a great time for people to jump in because we need sales numbers.
It's just extra ridiculous because it's so obvious that this is a serial continuation in both cases of Yakuza and FF. It's just like, somebody has got to start somewhere, and it's not going to be in the middle.
Yeah. I was also late to the Yakuza series because I think I mentioned this before. My only... knowledge or my only window into it was an annoying guy that I used to hang out with who would talk about it like it was the greatest thing.
Is this the same annoying guy you mentioned last episode?
Very possible.
Yeah.
And like I understand that people will tend to be effusive and energetic about things they like. I'm guilty of that myself. Like anytime FF14 comes up, I'll go off on it. I don't care. I love it.
That's true.
But the thing that he loved about it was all the fucking like macho posturing of being a gangster. When that's not really what it's about. It's See, he was also one of those guys who would like take away the wrong message from Fight Club. Just like, oh, it's really cool to be a dude and punch people. All right, man, I guess.
Right. I mean, that's the thing with the Yakuza games in general, though. It's that like somebody like Kiryu, yes, he's a tough guy. He's a mean-looking tough guy who's been through a lot of shit. But all the macho guys are the bad guys.
Yeah.
All the machismo in that game is inherent in the villains.
Yeah.
Kiryu has a nobility to him, despite the fact that he is or was actually a Yakuza. Like,
I've heard this is a problem with, I've never watched this, but I've heard this is a problem with The Boys as well. There's like people idolizing the wrong characters for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. It goes back to fucking Darth Vader. Nerds, Star Wars nerds who just love seeing Darth Vader because, hey, look, I get it. Darth Vader looks cool. He's not a role model in any way, shape, or form. Like, can we just leave it at the fact that he looks cool? And yeah, sure, it is cool when he shows up. It's not cool that he is like being Darth Vader.
I think that I don't want to sound like a bitter adult by saying this because that's not how I mean this. But I think that if you can describe a villain as cool, that thing is for kids, and I don't necessarily mean that in a derogatory way because there's plenty of things I love with cool villains. Yeah. But like I acknowledge, like this is not meant to be. This is not a story that's going to affect your adult life in any way. Right. This is bog standard good versus evil. That's fine. It has its place. Look, I fucking love, some games that do that sometimes, but be aware of it is what I'm saying.
Right. Exactly. And it's, sure, they might just look cool. Not much else beyond that, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of games, where was I going? You're going
Did
into
I have
my
an
mouth.
Point? Anyway, I guess not. Okay, yeah, because that's good. And now Alex.
You heard it here first. Ray endorses the mob.
No.
Antisocial forces.
No. Please don't look at my taxes.
Why'd you check the box that says Yakuza?
Oh, man, if I could pull off some good laundering, I would do it. But, no.
Laundering's where it's at. Don't make a drop out of that.
Send to IRS.
No. You just send them a USB drive with that MP3 on it.
No, I got another MP3.
I'm Alex.
Oh no, you're gonna stitch them together. Oh man, the dangers of AI.
Yeah.
And this is my brother, Alex Fraioli.
Oh, that's me. Okay.
You. Go.
I'm playing Persona 3 Reload, the remake of the video game Persona 3.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Remember all those years I
enjoy-
told you to try out Persona 3? And you were like, fuck you, Ray.
What? I did try out Persona 3.
I'm paraphrasing.
Don't you remember? Our pal Nick sent me a copy of P3 Fez and later P3 Portable. And I tried to get into the game both times and it would not stick. I think a lot of this was just due to the fact that it's the series at the time still had a lot of that, what am I trying to say? There's just enough annoyances to put me off, like the fact that, oh, if you stay up late, you can get sick and then you can't do XYZ. Or if you stay in the dungeon too long, you get tired and you sleep in the next day. And it was like punishing you for playing the game, which is something I didn't really appreciate. Like, you know, imagine if you go through Mario level 1-1 too fast, so in 1-2, like, you can't run. Like, it felt like that to me.
Oh,
you know? like you're using the dash button too much, so we're gonna disable it. Like, could you just let me have fun?
Hold on. That example sounds like an exaggeration. It just sounds
it
like
is an exaggeration.
Spend too much time in the dungeon, because I never really recall having that exact thing.
It is well. Let's also not forget it's what
it's not perfect. It's not a perfect game by any means.
It also commits a sin that I thought we had left behind with the original Dragon Quest IV in like 1990. But just having a party that you can't control in a turn-based RPG is a baffling decision to me.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting, I guess. I mean, it's bold of them to do in a game that felt bold to begin with, but yeah, maybe not in the end.
I mean,
yeah, you could have just
bold is great, but bold isn't always fun.
Exactly.
And I did eventually get into this series with P4 Golden because I bought a Vita TV on Amazon when they were like $30 or $40.
That's right. Yeah.
And the very first thing I bought was P4 Golden for $10, and it's one of the best purchases I've ever made in terms of like bang for buck because I really enjoyed that game. And it got me into the series. I bought P5 day one as a result, and then by the time P5 arrived, all the QOL was there, and now that's being implemented in the Persona 3 remake, which is leagues more playable to me than the game had been previously, and I am having a lot of fun with it.
Well, I had a feeling it would win you back in that way, so yeah, good to hear. Good to hear.
It's a series that I don't play often. I like because it's a lot. It's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, it
like
is.
All the social links, raising your stats, collecting personas, fusing personas, doing quests and stuff, doing dungeon,
bathing personas, changing personas' diapers.
Right, and that's not great. And I'm a person who, you know me, I don't like any games that put me on a time limit. It's why I couldn't get into Majora's Mask, but Persona does it in a manageable way because thank you. Persona's manageable about it because it gives you you got a year. You know when things are going to happen. It's you have plenty of time to do most of the things that you want. And
like
I
Shenmue.
don't like it's like Shane Mue is what they call it. It's it's what I appreciate about it.
Or Shamu, as that one YouTuber said.
It's Sega presents SeaWorld Adventures : Shamu. Geauga Lake, do you have it? What? Sorry. Geauga Lake, I believe, was an ocean themed park that I went to as a child, which was affiliated with SeaWorld, or it was a SeaWorld. I don't know. That's where that's that picture of you and me in front of Shamu is from. Or no, you're looking at me and my sister getting our picture taken with Shamu.
What?
Which, as I found out, was just a guy in a suit.
Was this also? Was this Pittsburgh or what?
No, I think was it in Ohio? I don't remember.
Okay, right. Ohio's also from
no, it might have been New
where you're
York.
from.
We were still living in New York at the time,
Okay.
so I don't remember. I think the photos dated 1988 or 9, so it might have been just before we moved.
Oh,
Who knows?
Aurora, Ohio. Okay.
Okay, it was Ohio, yeah.
Boy, Giaga's spelled very interestingly. It's kind of like a Pokemon
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, it's not. It's not like it doesn't sound like a third tier Final Fantasy spell like you might think.
Yes.
Right? That
Well, I
whale's
went to
casting-
Pokemon, but yeah, that works too.
Oh,
Yeah.
that whale's casting Giaga on me.
Persona 3.
I'm just kidding. They only know up to Giara. Persona 3 is great and fun. It's playable now, to me. I'm just having a lot of fun. The voice acting's incredible. They re-recorded all the dialogue.
Yeah.
Everyone is a step up.
I think compared to Yakuza, everybody's been really positive on it, as far as I've seen.
Yeah. I've already had nerds at the bar chide me for not playing it with Japanese voices, but my retort to that is go eat every ass and then fuck yourself
what?
through your own ass.
It's a new age.
Yeah.
Dubs are better than they've ever been.
Yes. I don't know how to impress this upon people, but like, yeah, we're in the age of like, you can have anything can have a good dub. It's fine. Shut your mouth and let those people open theirs.
I may have my little problems with some things, but generally I can say yes, it's all much more professionally done than it ever has been. There's really no problem in going with the dub.
Everyone's great.
Just to go back to Yakuza really quick, I did play Infinite Wealth with the English dub, partly because my wife was just watching me play, and it was just easier for her to keep track of things while she was also doing other stuff, because she wasn't a huge fan, but she wanted to watch it. Otherwise, I would have, if it was just me, I would have just played it in Japanese, but I did go with the English dub. Also a morbid curiosity in that, and seeing how that Yong Ya guy was doing Kiryu.
Oh, that's right.
Spoilers, didn't pan out, but nonetheless, I stuck with the dub. It was pretty good.
Cool. Yeah, I'm loving all the performances. Junpei is great. He's very energetic. Akihiko sounds like sexy Chris Parnell. I don't know who the guy is.
But I don't like Chris Parnell though.
Oh no, I'm just saying his voice sounds like that. He sounds like what if Chris Parnell was cooler?
All right,
I call him
like
Cool
Stefan
Parnell.
Urkel.
Exactly. Yes. It's Jaleel
Okay.
White, who my buddy Jason met at Disneyland, Disney World. My buddy Jason was working a stall, and the guy who looked like Jaleel White handed him a credit card that said Jaleel White on it.
Oh, okay.
And then after the transaction, Jason handed the card back, and Jaleel White just said, "Hey, man, thanks for not making a big deal," which is pretty good.
Julia White's all right. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's all the voices are great. The one criticism I have is I don't know why they re-recorded a lot of the songs, because the original soundtrack was already. What was that?
Oh, sorry, my Laserdisc player started up. Please continue.
Why do you have a Laserdisc player in your office?
No, I just played some Mega LD games. That's all. Excuse me.
Okay. All right. Great. I don't understand why they re-recorded some of the songs. I'm playing the PC version. I'm sure there's an easy to implement mod that will swap in the old soundtrack, which is it's because like it's not just that they're different. Some of them I do like more. Like I like the dorm music better because they changed the lyrics, and now the lyrics are really stupid, but that's why I like them.
Yeah.
There's a line in the lyrics that says it rhymes biz with biz, which is great. I'm minding my biz, so mind your own biz, which is just outstanding.
Well, I mean, it is a remake. They would feel obligated, I think, to redo the music, much like Final Fantasy in a sense.
I mean,
I know a lot of that stuff is, has lyrics and has a large impression on many people, but
I think I
can see why they went with that.
I think it's different for music that already had professional production values. Like remaking Final Fantasy, of course you're going to remake the music because that music was constrained by the NES or the SNES or the PS1. But like Persona 3 music was already like professionally produced, extremely catchy. I don't know that it needs to be redone. It
would still just like, I agree with you to some degree, but I think if you look at it holistically, it is still like an artifact of 2007, and they probably felt they had an opportunity to maybe enhance what they thought was the production level to 2023, 24 standards. So, and that gave them, I guess, license to retake a lot of the lyrics and so on.
I guess. I disagree with the decision to change the baby baby in Mass Destruction from baby to baby. I don't know why. This is the most Alex complaint I'm going to have about this game. But changing baby 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 to baby 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 it strikes me as wrong. And
that's valid. That sounds like some of my general nitpicks with dubs, but yeah,
it's
similar.
It loses some of the impact. It loses some of the emotion. When you stop to pronounce words correctly, I'm not taking your song seriously. That's an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying.
Crisp and clear English accent, American accent or whatever.
Yeah. G'day, mate. What?
No. Good day, mate.
Oh, thank you. Good day, mate.
What do the Irish say? What's the crack?
Yeah, what's the crack?
What is the crack?
What is the crack? How do I answer that? Rough as a badger's ass.
Very well, thank you. I shall take my leave.
County Cork. All right, that's mostly all I got for P3 Reload because I don't really have I have no complaints about it outside of the music. It's super fun. It's one day I will try to finish a mainline SMT game, but this is not that year.
Okay. Well,
the only one I've gotten into was I think I put about 10 or 12 hours into 4 on the 3DS.
Yeah.
And it had a vibe. It had a very specific feel to it that I was not receptive to at the time, but I realized I would probably enjoy in a different frame of mind. But Persona is, and this is coming from the guy who said, like, I'm done playing games where I'm a Japanese high schooler. This may be the last one, and I'm only giving it a chance because I know it's getting the QOL that other entries had.
Sure. Since you mentioned it, we cannot avoid just mentioning further
the new version of a game called
Shin Megami Tensei.
Where? What?
They got the new version of 5 coming out.
Oh, right.
For PC and the rest of the consoles and stuff. So
okay.
Yeah, that should be good for me at least.
Cool. Yeah, I did watch a regular at the bar play through most of 5, and I certainly like the look of it. I didn't get a feel for the characters really because I was mostly watching this guy grind. But the soundtrack's great. I like the world. There's something about SMT versus Persona that is less accessible to me.
Right. Well, in general, the difficulty level is higher, I suppose.
Also that.
Yeah. Hey, there's also Soul Hackers 2.
Cool.
That's a spin-off, and that's not mainline. That's
arguably one of the more famous MST3K episodes, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's
all right.
Infamous, rather, might be the word to use there.
Thank you.
How much? $32.
Well, this is a cheap movie.
So you recommend it? It's a buy. Persona 3 Reload.
Well, I recommend Game Pass certainly.
All right.
Because that's how I'm playing it. I'm not. Yeah, I don't have 9,000 yen to spend on video games these days. I do have $10 a month to spend to play possibly dozens of games.
Yeah, well, I mean, $10 for 12 months is more than that, you know.
Yeah, but I'm getting more games for my buck.
I'm just being antagonistic as a bit.
It's working.
All right.
Now we're in the Hall of Judgment.
I heard you got out of Midgar.
Yeah, play the applause again. No, I was kidding.
Oh. Wait.
You're like, this is like the
hi.
It's like the final Red Book track on Panic, which is just like the applause from the orchestra scene. God.
Brain healthy.
Maybe I should rip that, make my own applause drop, and then annoy you with it.
I wish you would.
Okay, well, in the meantime, I have a different annoying drop, which is Alex dropping his ring.
That's pretty good, though. Although I'm surprised that in the background you don't have a fuck.
I might have cut it out.
Oh, man. You got to leave that in there.
Yeah.
I'm a loaf. That's what I say when I drop it. Look at these Cocoa Pebbles. Okay.
All right, yes.
Okay.
So right after Infinite Wealth came out, we jumped right into FF7 Rebirth about a month later, and I've been playing that. Not done with it, of course, but yeah, enjoying ourselves. I will say just up front, something that I've said before about FF7 Remake, it is still basically FF7 the movie, so you need to adjust any expectations about what's going to go on with that presentation. And so, nevertheless, it is definitely more of the remake that people expected, with the open maps and everything, and going through more of the story, of course, and meeting more characters that we all know and love. And despite the fact that it is kind of like open world or open zones, I would say it's like very large chunks, but they do move you along the story, and so they will lock you out of fast traveling at certain points. So you can't go everywhere all the time, which makes sense. I will say though, it's a lot of the same pacing as FF7 Remake, like, well, sort of what I said just now, but also like being strongly moved into certain side quests before you get to the next main plot point, for example. Although there are lots of totally optional side quests now. This time you get like there's notice boards in the towns and stuff, and you can get signed up to side quests that do have actual like cutscenes behind them and everything. But there are a few of the, like, I don't want to say forced. I was just trying to say like strongly moved into these side quests and mini games that are part of the plot, or things that will actually benefit you, like getting the chocobo in that region and being able to call the chocobo whenever, things like that. But I think some of the people may not have liked that in the remake, still kind of get it in the Rebirth. But as far as the story goes so far, I'm not going to talk spoilers necessarily, but they do make things like Costa del Sol seem less inconsequential, because previously on this show, I would make fun of the original FF7 having like Hojo be on the beach for no reason in Costa del Sol. Just when you get there, and it's like 2 minutes later, you just see him on the beach surrounded by women, right?
Yeah, he's chilling.
They do treat it differently here and make it matter just a bit more. It's just kind of like moved a bit ahead in this story, I suppose. And anyway, there's other stuff surrounding that. But they also like don't shy away from the tonal shifts that gave FF7 kind of its wacky personality in parts, and we know that from Remake, and like, for example, the whole wall market quests and everything, that was still kind of like a presentation of all of the sort of wackier elements of FF7. And so a lot of that is still pretty faithful here. And really, I mean, Final Fantasy games mostly all have had wacky stuff in them, so it was not like in danger of being deleted from the remake series in general. But mostly wacky. I would say up to like 9, right? Like, I don't hate Final Fantasy 9, but it is kind of preoccupied with itself.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think later games have their share of whack.
Name one. No.
10?
10, really? I mean,
right?
Yeah.
10-2, certainly.
Well, 10-2 is all wacky. That's for sure.
Yeah. 1,000% camp. I love it.
But compare 10 to 10-2, like 10 is a little bit bland, I would say, as far as like,
listen to my story.
Like, as far as purposefully silly stuff, no, not really.
I mean, there's some silly stuff.
Some, I guess. And then 12. No, not really.
Well, I mean, Vaughn and Penella, well, don't they do some kind of comic relief stuff?
I'm talking like, okay, like Rebirth just has the Mog houses, and they are just on the map, and you can walk to this giant mushroom-shaped house and be transported into a fantasy land with the Moogles.
Cool.
Like that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Okay.
Not just a character being silly. Like,
okay, because in original 7, Moogles didn't exist, right? They were just like a make believe thing. There was a game in the Gold Saucer where you pretended to be a Moogle, and
oh yeah,
that's all I got.
Yeah, heavily themed in the Gold Saucer, that's for sure. Yeah, but yeah, I would say we're nearing the end of the plot. There's like 13 chapters. Getting to the end of chapter 10 right now, and yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, obviously, I think people have made their minds on this whole remake thing by now, and so if you're still someone who knows and cares about that game and story and characters and stuff, I think you'll still be pleasantly surprised.
I'm looking forward to. Hi.
I don't know if it necessarily deserve. I mean, this is just the thing about the FF7 stuff in general. It's like the reviews came out and it was all, super glowing and everything. And I'm just like, yeah, really? I mean, it can't be that good. They certainly pulled it off, of course. But I mean, there's still a huge game that needs a whole lot of checks and balances behind it that they don't all fully hit.
Yeah. I mentioned this on a previous show, and I will stand by this. There's something about Final Fantasy. I don't know. I think we can call it Final Fantasy VII derangement syndrome, where like there's something about this series, this game that like if you show those characters in like Ultra HD super detailed models, people lose their fucking minds, and it doesn't matter what the game is. It's outstanding. They're gonna love it. And I'm sure this game is great. I'm sure a lot of this praise is absolutely warranted. There's no way it's as warranted as what I'm seeing online. It's just not possible. I think there's something about FF7 that triggers something in people's brains that they go wild and they remember what it was like to be 13 or whenever they were when they played FF7. And it's my favorite characters, lovingly re-rendered in beautiful high def. They're loving it. They're getting that rush to their brain, but there's no way it can possibly be that good.
Right. Well, let's be crystal clear here. I am talking about separating a critical line of thought behind the game and just like the actual playing and having fun part of it.
Right.
And it is fun. It is fun to revisit this world in such a way. I have fun with it. I'm not bemoaning that at all. But again, if we then switch over to the critical part, it's like there are some technical things wrong with it. There are some annoying things wrong with it that are kind of rooted in today's game design in general. There are just things that are generally silly and not on purpose silly. Just like, I can't believe you did this, or I can't believe you wrote this way, those kind of things. And that might just be called nitpicking to some people. And maybe, sure, but that's what you do when you have a critical mind about something, is that you're going to take some of this and be like, yeah, of course it's not all perfect, but of course we can all be mature and have fun at the same time.
Yes. Yeah. I'll probably get into this later on, but yeah, I've been playing with language in writing this YouTube script in trying to be critical, but fair at the same time. But sometimes you do have to be critical.
Yeah.
Like sometimes something is off or something is wrong, and I don't buy this attitude that someone worked real hard on it, so you should just like it. Like, I know where that's coming from, but like, I can't ignore some things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And especially like the surely gargantuan development team behind this game in particular, multiple countries pitching in on this stuff, there's enough of a defensive wall put up around those people that, it doesn't really matter how mean or not you are to it. And well, that's just the whole like gray area of this whole thing. Like, of course, an indie game is going to have fewer people behind it and might be more sensitive to your criticism, of course. But FF7, like, this is you're just throwing pebbles at a wall here. It doesn't really matter.
Like, I try to be lenient with indie stuff, but if anything, the fact that I have sort of been moved to make this video says this is how aggravating the experience was, that I wore through my leniency very early on because there's just so much about those games that, sets me off. And I'm sure there's things about FF7 as well, but my plan right now is I'm waiting until this compilation of FF7 remakes is complete, and B is on Steam, and C is on sale. It's basically my approach to FF16. Like, I'll get to it when it's cheap and on PC. Until then, looks like it's fun. Glad you're having fun. Keep having fun.
Yeah, I will say also in regards to your video project, just to talk about that for a bit. Like,
hi, yes.
I do want to play through this FF7 world again. I don't want to play a game that's mimicking FF7 at every stop. I want to actually play the official version of the remake. You know what I mean? Not someone who is just a fan of the game trying to insert elements from it into their game.
Oh, you're talking about Chained Echoes?
Well, any of those similar things that you and I have talked about.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. And I address this in the video. It's a symptom of the love letter school of game design, which we can knock off, I think.
Let's close that school.
Yeah.
Defund.
Yeah, I think one of the ways I phrase this in the video is I don't want to play a checklist of things you like. If you have an original idea in mind, awesome, make that game. I'd like to play it, but cobbling together dozens upon dozens of references in the hopes that people will accidentally like your thing because it looks like those things, I think is disingenuous and a waste of effort.
And again, to be clear, I'm not saying you can't make a game that is like the game you loved so much. I have ideas like that.
No, yeah, you can.
But for God's sakes, you have to rein it in, and it can't just be, like you said, the love letter.
Yes.
You have to have a bit of yourself
I'm
in
not
it,
saying don't have... Yeah, I'm not saying don't have inspirations.
Yeah,
I'm just saying have some perspective and understand that you can work your inspirations in, but try to be subtle and maybe try to do something creative with it. Not just reference for reference sake. It drives me up the wall.
I would say, okay, so for example, they just said that Ghost of Tsushima is coming out for PC, and I was thinking back about Ghost of Tsushima. And they are very clearly inspired by old Kurosawa movies, for example, and they try to emulate that feeling in a video game. And you may think it's a bit up their ass or not. It might be a little bit validated when they have I think a graphics filter called Kurosawa mode.
Right.
That's a bit extreme, I would say. I wouldn't go that far. But aside from that, divorced of that little bit in a menu or whatever, I think the rest of the game does pull off this sort of attempt at emulating these old Japanese stories and movies and whatnot in a video game that is made in America.
Yes.
And it's fine to be inspired like that.
Yeah. I didn't play enough of Ghost of Tsushima to get into any of that. But I did appreciate what it was doing visually and from the, what brief storytelling I did see, I thought was fine. I don't even hate the fact that there is a Kurosawa mode. I mean, I don't think you need to call it that. I think you could just call it like cinema mode. We get it. Right. We know this is a huge homage to Kurosawa. I also think that a cinematic look is not just a lack of color. And I'm being a real obnoxious weirdo right now, but
now
I hope it also bumped the frame rate down to 24 FPS.
It might be. I'm just speaking off the cuff. I never really saw it that much, but
okay, me neither. I don't know anything about it. I'm hoping it's not just we made it black and white. There, it looks like a movie now. Because that quality of cinema is not just about color. It's about a lot of different things.
I think it's just a filter. It's not exactly the frame rate. I don't think the frame rate was involved.
But
that's a good idea.
Maybe it should have been.
That's a pretty good idea. Why couldn't they pull that off?
Yeah, remember when Kurosawa made all those 60 FPS films?
He was ahead of his time.
Kurosawa was very famous. He refused to play any game under just locked 60 FPS.
If it doesn't play at 120 hertz, I'm canceling my pre-order. That was what Kurosawa
There's a very famous video of him ranting about Bloodborne locked at 30 FPS.
Yeah. And yet he platinumed it anyway? Like, come on, dude. Just play it or don't.
Yeah, right?
If you don't like it so much.
Well, looks like you did like it.
400 hours invested? Come on.
Oh, man.
And then you give it a thumbs down? Get over yourself. What a hack. Anyway.
Famous film director Akira Kurosawa. Get over yourself. Total hack.
Loser.
No.
No.
That's my Kurosawa impression. What do you think? No.
I'm sorry.
Droopamon? I got nothing.
Gotta catch them all.
Hidden Droopy?
Thank you, Alex. And, well,
Hi, I'm here to help.
that's really all I had to say about FF7 at this point. Maybe I'll follow up later.
Hey, why don't you pass me the baton for our UK friends, baton, and I will continue
All right,
to
here,
talk
catch.
about Final Fantasy. Ow! All right, well, it bounced into the sewer, and I ain't getting it. Also, it bounced off my head. That's great to just play. Oh, I love
I'm
it.
so glad you're happy.
Yeah, big fan. So next week I'm getting back into FF14 because I finally found a group to do Savage content. The only reason that I can do this, I think, is because I'm now in a mental headspace to enjoy video games again after dealing with tax bullshit for a year.
Okay, yeah. You took your tax sabbatical.
Yeah. It's okay to allow myself this level of stress now in a hobby because I no longer have actual stress in my waking life. And this is going to sound crazy. I'm getting back into 14 as a kind of methadone to get me off of Final Fantasy 11, which I'm back into currently.
Oh. Come again?
Yeah. I heard somebody in my Twitch chat last month told me, oh yeah, FF11 has retro achievements now. Right? And my first thought was, that's stupid. And my second thought was, where do I download that? And
Brad, I'm literally rattled and panicked.
That's been the last couple weeks for me, is playing way too much FF11 and not getting things done that I need to get done.
Ass.
Yeah. I'm playing on a private server called Horizon, which is only the first 2 expansions. And it's...
I assume this is the only one that supports the achievements?
Yeah, otherwise I'd be on a different one because it's not that I need the other expansions, it's that I need their QOL.
Okay.
I would really like to be able to level solo, which you can do in modern retail.
Okay. So you're...
But one of the things that they play up this Horizon server is it's just like the old days when you had to team up with people to get anything done. And I'm like, that's not what I liked about it. That was something that I begrudgingly had to do, is, stand in Juneau shouting for people to help me kill a dragon or something.
Okay, so...
but you know what? For the retro achievements, I dove back in.
So let me get this straight.
Go.
You're playing Final Fantasy 11.
Yes.
In an even less modernized version than what is currently available from Square Enix.
Yes.
Without any of the present day niceties, I suppose.
Some of it's there. They did because the way that this has to work logistically is they basically took a modern retail version and then gutted the expansions they didn't want in there, or that they disabled access to them. It still this is the thing that kills me about this. It still retains some of these updates. They just do nothing. Like, they added in retail, there are now warp crystals everywhere. Like every area in every major city. I think every area in the game has a warp crystal. Once you've activated one, you can warp. It's basically like FF14. Like once you've been to a place, you can warp back there.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Those crystals are still there in Horizon, but when you examine them, you just can't warp.
Okay, so you're playing a Final Fantasy 11 version that is less modernized and is gaslighting you so that you can get achievements from an unofficial source made by fans.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm begrudgingly going to return to retro achievements, I think, because they have they did.
It doesn't sound very begrudging to me.
Well, I mean, it
like
starts with
you're all
FF11. I'm all in now, yeah. But at first, I was very wary about it. But they've kind of the thing that they convinced me was they've revamped their system a little bit, and now I think missable achievements must now be marked, whereas previously that was just a
free for all.
Yeah, it was a cute decision that like the dev got to make. When really that should be a uniform thing across the site. Like, hey, am I wasting my fucking time on something or not? Which is eventually why I quit doing the achievements a year or two ago, because I played past a missable achievement in a Final Fantasy IV set that was not marked, even though other achievements in that set were marked as missable. I played past one like, okay, cool. So I guess this is just the wild fucking West. I'm out of here.
It kind of is, though.
But yeah, but I mean, now maybe it was just a few sets I saw, but it seems like they are requiring people to mark with a special icon.
Sure. Okay. They put up a guardrail. That's fine.
Yes. Yeah. Which is like, I mean, if you're doing something like this, if you're doing a fan-based collection of achievements, you really kind of need to establish those things early on to make sure everyone's on the same page and that you're respecting the player's time.
Yeah. I get it. I understand. Nothing's perfect the first time out.
Obviously, these are standalone. This is not done through RetroArch because it's FF11. It's a private FF11 server that you're,
Yeah.
You're basically just, you download the client and then you got to torrent the actual game.
All right. So what are some of these achievements like?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know yet?
No, I do. I think I've only unlocked one, which is attain rank 3.
Okay. So, yeah, some boilerplate stuff.
I mean, like, yeah. Here, because I guess my question for you is, even if I explain what the achievements are, would you understand?
Well, I have some knowledge of FF11. I was just wondering, is it a lot of boilerplate stuff like reach X level or X rank, or is it like
it's
plot-related things?
Here's I can tell. Like, there's a main set, which is progression mostly, and unlocking things and leveling things. But then there's also like a lot of subsets.
I see. That
are insane. Like get every legendary weapon, get every relic from Dynamis. Like that's not attainable by a sane person.
Yeah, but people playing on a private server, they don't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're playing with all the marbles to begin with.
Now they're playing with power, superpower.
MMO obsessed people, you notwithstanding, they can do things that will really surprise you in terms of endurance and generally ruining their lives.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm sure for a lot of people, this is incredibly up their alley.
Yeah. And I thought for a while it might be up mine, but I mean, that's also the danger of FF11 is I've now put in a few weeks leveling a character. If I quit now, that's all wasted, right? So I got to keep going. I got to pour more weeks and months into this character.
Just to clarify, because I do not know exactly how it all works, but you're not actually having to pay Square to have like a character slot.
Oh, God, no.
No, because I mean, like, I remember looking up private server stuff and how you would set up your own shard or whatever. And it was like, you still needed an account for that server to at least ping Square Enix to, I don't know. It was dumb, but.
No.
Okay.
I mean, that may have been how it used to work, but not anymore.
Yeah. Well, there's also like 500 different forks of a server structure.
Yeah.
Because there was drama with the people and stuff. So.
Yeah, there's already drama with this one. Like people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Big surprise. Because this one's also like run by a very sort of control freaky dude who's making decisions based on his vision of the game and not really anyone else's vision of the game.
Sounds great. Sounds de rigueur for retro achievements from everything else you've told me before.
Really?
A control freak wants to have rule over the achievements as well?
They've rebalanced job classes. They've buffed certain classes and nerfed others. And some people are like, well, it does sort of fix the overall balance of the game, but also it's like, who are you to make that call?
Well, when ROM hacking FF6 isn't enough, you go ahead and make your own FF11 server.
I guess.
Where you have an entire large world.
Yeah, it is surprising that I would be into this because I am typically against ROM hacks that do, that kind of rebalancing.
So far, the only thing that you would like is retro achievements.
Yeah, and FF11.
Well, sure.
I do. Yeah, I'm like over the past couple of years, I've kind of warmed up to ROM hacks in general. Because I used to consider the retail release to be like sacrosanct, and as soon as you change it, it's no longer the original game. Like I think the example I always used was like, hey, look, I put a cool little hat on the Mona Lisa. Doesn't it look better? No, it was fine. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And that is still how I feel about a lot of ROM hacks, but
of course.
There's some that I do appreciate. Like I'm I'm pretty okay with obviously translations now. I think we're in a place where fan translations are quality is going up, and they're generally very good. And people put a lot of work into those, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, but it's also a different segment.
It is, but I mean, in the wider
it is a ROM
scope,
hack, but
in the wider scope of altering a video game with what may not be the creator's vision, because a lot of localization is making choices that, at least in an official capacity, you can assume that the creator is okay with, but when it's fans doing it, it's like, it's just a bunch of randos who translated it, and depending on what their skill level and experience is, that might be accurate, it might not be accurate.
Hey, speaking of ROM hacks and control freaks, no one did it better than Working Designs, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah,
see, that's an example.
With a new version of Silhouette Mirage that's accurate to the original version.
That's what got me thinking about that, was like, why did they feel the need to rebalance difficulty on top of, a Mimi translation?
So I read that thing about Silhouette Mirage most recently, and other people have done like unworked designs versions of the RPGs like Lunar and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I went over to my copy of Summon Night 6, which was published by Gaijin Works and our good friend Vic Ireland.
Great.
This was just him repeating Working Designs in every way he could, and that includes the large manual with the note at the end telling everybody how hard the localization was and everything. I'm reading a thing. There's a paragraph that starts, "So what changed from the Japanese release? Since we didn't have source code access on this one, our usual laundry list of improvements was whittled down to just a few items." Aww. Gosh darn it. Because yes, the larger Japanese game industry wised up.
Yeah.
You're not bilking some low-level Mega Drive developer anymore.
I was on the localization front. I finally read there's a piece from US Gamer that's now on, what is it, VG something, whatever now hosts US Gamer content.
Okay.
An interview with the FF12 localization team, and I talk about this in the YouTube video as well because it's related to a lot of that. But there's a lot of stuff that like the localization team had to fight for that we kind of take for granted. Like they point out that when games are made in Japanese, everyone just kind of speaks Japanese.
Yeah.
Or, hey, maybe this goofy person speaks Kansai Ben, or this person's a farmer. They speak Tohoku Ben or whatever. But that's kind of it. And I think it was Alexander O. Smith and Joseph Reeder who made the decision to no, the Vieira need to stand out and be distinct. They should have Icelandic accents. And they had to sell this to the Japanese dev team. They had to be like, no, please hear us out. It's important for this reason, and it will be cool, and it will fit.
Yeah.
And a lot of these decisions, the Japanese dev team just kind of had to be like, all right, we don't entirely understand why, but we trust that you do.
Yep, you need that trust.
Yeah, and that's a decision that's echoed all the way into FF14, because when the Vieira show up in 14, they have Icelandic accents again. And it's great. It's this cool piece of continuity that was the FF12 localization team took some initiative on, and
yeah,
I love stuff like that.
It's not like the Vieira show up in FF14 going like, "Howdy, y'all."
Gorge.
Well,
so that's the Goof era.
It's the Warrior of Light. Hey, Ma. Okay. Anyway, I can't believe the modern day Bandai Namco didn't let Vic Ireland play with their source code.
Oh, fun.
Gosh darn it. Anyway. Where were we?
Final Fantasy Vana'Diel. Wait, where's my Vana'Diel drop? This is the one time I need it. I don't even...
We know him as Crash Bandicoot. That certainly is not his real name.
That'll have to do.
Yeah, I guess so. That's the only video game drop we have.
Do something for us, Mr. Yamato Takeruno Mikoto.
Sorry, what's that? Somebody was talking over you. Hey, everyone, I love FF6. Yeah. I do. All right, let's take a quick break, and we're gonna carry the audience out on a giant stretcher with segment 3.
All right, strap in.
Turn on, drop out.
It's not how that goes.
Tune in, turn on, drop out. Strap off. Clap. Clap on. Donald Faison.
The other great working designs thing in this game is just like the back of the box is like one unbroken paragraph of text in the same font.
Great. Folks, we're back. Welcome back. This is No More Whoppers, segment 3. We're setting it up and knocking them down. Bowling. Hi, I'm Alex.
Turkey.
Is this Ray?
I think so.
To whom am I speaking?
It's Ray, dummy. Just go.
Donata-sama desu ka.
Hey, come on.
All right. Sorry.
This is an American show.
We're an American band.
You got to speak that darn American.
Thanks. Hey, you know what I did? I watched my very first Gundam recently.
Wow, the show that's like Transformers?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Can you guess which one it was? No, you can't. But what if I gave you a hint? I watched the English dub because that was my only option.
Okay.
And it featured David Hayter in a main role.
Uh-huh. Ooh, the Guyver.
And Steve Bloom in a supporting role. I'm sure Gundam fans immediately already know what it is.
Okay. I don't know, was it Gundam Wing?
No, it was is it OAV or OVA?
I don't know.
It's
I think I've leaned toward OVA.
Original video animation?
Right, or original animation video.
What's the difference?
I'm not sure we ever
It was a
settled on
DVD.
it. Is it DVD or DVD?
Consisting of, I want to say 6 episodes or thereabouts. It was Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket, which was lent to me. No, it was given to me by my good friend Yusuke, who is a Saturday regular at the bar. He's also a big Gundo, I believe is what Gundam fans are called. I was asked because he plays a lot of Gundam games at the bar. He brought one last time. I think it was a PS2 game that he likes. And I was just making conversation, asking him, like, I want to start watching Gundam. Where do I start? What's a good one to start with? And he just said, that's a difficult question. There's no right answer. Just pick one that you think looks cool and start watching that. Wow. And I said, well, I think they all look cool. And then he said, all right, I'll lend you one, or I'll give you one.
Wasn't expecting that, were you?
Yeah. So he brought in the DVDs the next week, and I watched them. And it was really good. I quite enjoyed it. And I think the reason I quite enjoyed it was it does, and he knows this about me, that I kind of prefer that it focuses on like the human element of the story, and it's not a lot of robot fighting, which I have nothing against robot fighting. Certainly, I think illegal rings need to be busted.
Right.
And, we need change in the country is what I'm saying. Yeah. But I kind of prefer. It sucks because I made the mistake of starting with the deconstruction. Like, I started with Evangelion. Where do I go from there?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's hard to take robot on robot violence seriously when I've already seen Evangelion as a teen. But a good character drama is always good, regardless of what else is going on. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. There were a lot of it. I looked up while I was watching it. Oh, it was made in 1989, which I think is one of the reasons I like it so much. It's got a lot of beautiful hand-drawn animation. There are certain scenes that are set up. There's one particular scene in a warehouse it's set up like a stage play. Like, the audience can see certain things that some characters can't. Like, one character has a gun. We can see this. One of the characters can see this. Another character cannot see this. It's a lot of, like, setting up a lot of dramatic angles in that way that I thought was really cool. Like, the kind of thought that should go into, like, scene composition. That kind of thing, which I really like, and kind of made me feel, kind of rewarded me for noticing detail, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
And I kind of want to see other Gundam like that. I think, I'm sure there's a lot more to watch. I don't know where to go from here. I think I want to start from the beginning. But we'll see. I know it's a huge undertaking.
Sorry, I was yawning.
Am I boring you, Ray?
Yes. No.
That's all I got for that. I just wanted to say,
sounds good.
Hey, I'm diving into the world of Gundam. I'm not going to build them. I'm not going to buy a box full of plastic.
Oh, you say that now, but who knows?
I know.
We supposedly still have people who talk about that in our Discord.
Of course they do.
Dorks. I mean,
I have. I just this Monday I recorded at a studio in Nagoya where the lobby has the guy's Gunpla shelf.
Oh, sure.
It's like the sound engineer who runs the studio. He just puts them all on the shelf for everyone to look at. My wife and I also went to a restaurant that did this as well. We went to a Hamburg place a couple of weeks ago that, like, right there on the entryway is a couple of shelves devoted to the owner's Gunpla. I thought it was pretty cool. That's not the kind of thing I'm into, but I think it's really cool that you can just kind of show off your hobby like that.
Sure, yeah. What if I had a bar and just put up shelves, or glass display cases, let's say, of all the PS1 games I own? Who would care about that? Would people care about it?
I would. Yeah.
All right. I would just be like, hey, look at all these games I have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you have 2 copies of Silent Bomber?
It's good.
Yeah, but you've only got 1 PlayStation.
Right now I have 5.
Oh, shit. Ooh.
So, War in the Pocket. Is this about billiards?
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Right.
Oh, so you have seen it.
Are the Gundam billiard balls? Is that what they are?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is.
Knock against each other? Now that's a good spin-off.
Yeah.
That's a spin-off.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Why didn't they just make that into a video game?
It's actually very sad. It's
Gundam War in the Side Pocket. God, I'm brilliant.
Wow, War is hell.
I'm going to call Vic Ireland, see if I can get in at Bandai Namco.
When's he going to reunify with Vic Northern Ireland? Have I already said that? I feel like I made that joke already.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in your repertoire. Yeah.
All right. So that's anime news, which I don't think can be classified as news, but I do have actual Alex news. So this is all related to me fidgeting with my ring. Please play the ring drop.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And possibly also related, thank you, also possibly related to me going ham on Final Fantasy XI and not knowing when or how to stop. But I made an appointment at a mental clinic to get my brain unscrambled because I have a lot of habits that I want to know why I have them.
Right. Sure.
And that includes fidgeting with things nonstop and also getting hyper focused on hobbies and endeavors. Because I've been told by 2 different people. One, I know someone with ADHD who says I have ADHD symptoms, and someone who's autistic who says I have autistic symptoms. And I'm like, well, I'd like to get this. Neither of yous is a doctor, so I got to find one. And I made a call to this mental clinic a few months ago, and I made an appointment. And then I called and canceled because I had a conversation with another friend who was telling me about, like, medication side effects. And I'm like, well, I don't want to get into all this shit if I'm going to have to deal with side effects. Because when I was on the phone making the appointment, the guy was very clear about, he's like, yeah, we take a pharmacological approach, so we may prescribe things that we think are going to help you. And I took that to mean we are definitely trying to sell you on a prescription. And I'm like, I thought about it like, maybe I don't want that.
And we do Invisalign.
That I do need, mostly for my teeth. But then I started thinking, well, I mean, they're not going to, like, hold me down and feed me pills and massage my throat like a dog. I don't think they do that anymore. So, like, at the very least I can get a diagnosis and then, deal with it my own way. Like, whatever I do have, if anything, is not severe enough that it's obstructing my daily life. It's just big enough that I know something's up, Right. Like, I don't have anything serious. I don't have anything that is affecting the way that I live and work. But I do have tendencies that I wish I could counteract or, turn the volume down on, so to speak. And I want to find out exactly what is going on and deal with that in my own way. And just to have an understanding of what my deal is, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
To function better.
Of course. Well,
yes, but this means because of the way this clinic works, I have to physically go down there a week before the appointment to pay a deposit in cash up front.
Okay.
I gotta take a train across the city next week to go in and pay them a couple of bucks, then come home, wait a week, go all the way back. I mean, I would have been happy giving them like a credit card number. Like now I got to use up an afternoon going all the way down there.
What is that about?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, yeah. Japan is kind of credit card phobic, though, right?
Yes. Honestly, the not related to pay. The thing I want to know about the most is I have an extreme sensitivity to loud noises, which I think I've talked about before.
Oh yes. And have
it's
acted upon.
Yes, a lot. Like I will snap. I have snapped at my wife, and I have snapped at customers who sneeze. Yeah. So it's bad.
And me.
And you?
Well, there's recorded
I do get
proof.
Angry a lot.
Yes, of course.
I also want to point out the irony is not lost on me of perhaps one of the loudest assholes in the world being sensitive to loud noises. I understand. Like we don't need to draw attention to that.
You're not that loud.
I can be boisterous. But no, I was I might have mentioned this. I was just walking by a construction site last summer, and someone started using a tool, and it made such a noise that I stopped walking and turned around and went home because I had to lie down. I could not, my day was done. There was nothing else I could do.
Whoa.
I cannot stay out. I am literally rattled and panicked. Yeah. I just decided, I can't be out anymore. I have to go home immediately.
That's not good.
See, I suspect that I've had this all along, but it didn't get bad, or maybe it got bad while I was deep into drinking. And when I was doing my self-medicating, I thought the whole time I was self-medicating for social anxiety. I think it's also possible I was self-medicating for other stuff too. And now that the alcohol is gone, that stuff is back in full force, and I don't understand it, and I'm scared by it.
Oh boy, yeah.
So I need to I'm going to dump all of this on a very nice doctor later this month, and we're going to find out what is going on because it's not great.
No.
I cannot, I don't like being in public, but now it's not just because of the social anxiety. It's also because, if anyone makes a noise, I want to throw them into the river.
Yeah, that's not good. That's generally not good.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I will keep you updated, and we'll see where this goes.
Yeah. Of course, it's good that you recognize it.
Yes. It's unfortunate that, I thought I was getting along fine, but then I had no choice but to recognize it because it is starting to affect, how I deal with things around me.
Yeah, of course. Fantastic.
But that's me. That's what's going on.
All right.
Over to you. Tell me about your brain.
Oh, I've done enough of that over the years.
Oh, okay.
Besides, I got to do some stuff in 2 days for our next Crunk Games podcast recording that will touch on a lot of that. So,
fun.
I'm going to keep my lips sealed. How about, though, we move over to Fan Fun?
We have Phone Fun. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I am. I made the
Give
show
us a
with
call. Give me a call.
I'm calling you right now. I'm on the call.
I hope you're dialing 805 NMW Talk.
No, it's the internet. We don't need dialing.
Happens to be 805-669-8255.
805 NMW
I'll call
Talk.
you.
That's right.
That's the number to call?
I'm saying again because I spoke over you like I'm doing again right now, and I just wanted to say it again so everybody understood that the main number that you call is 805 NMW Talk.
Right. West of the Mississippi, 805 NMW Talk. East of the Mississippi, 805 NMW Talk. Which I understand doesn't really matter since it's a globe and you can easily go one direction and then come back.
Yeah. How did that work back in the day? Like if you were on east of the Mississippi and you called the west number, would you just get a busy signal? Like what was the problem?
No, I think they were just trying to divide up the the load, the
switchboard?
capacity of the call. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You know.
Maybe.
That's why you have 2 switchboards.
Yeah.
That's why we have 2 switchboards. We have a secret number that we don't give out.
I mean, if you called the wrong number, the cost would be on you anyway, right? So, like,
yes.
yeah, I don't know how phone switchboards work. Maybe that's.
I'm going to try something new this episode for Phone Fun. I'm going to read the transcript first.
Okay, yeah.
And then we're going to play the call. Okay.
I agree. This segment needs some spicing up. So,
yes. So that's how I'm going to try to do
ahead.
it. Here we go. We got this. Whoever this is, thank you for keeping this under a minute. It's 43 seconds. I love it. Hey guys, this is Shoes for returning listener earlier this month. I read an article about Epic Games gave out for $2,000 with games in 2023. Hang on, I got... The way you laugh tells me you're not going to cut that. I realized that I've been downloading their free games from them since they started that program, but never did anything with them, and decided to start my library of games in a different categories of what to play, what I cannot run on my system, and reading reviews of games that look interesting to see if there was my time. I have a total of 380 games, and I purchased exactly 1 game from them. This Goes Them, which is on sale. The question is, do you guys download quote-unquote free games from surfaces like Epic, PlayStation Plus, or GOG? And do you ever get around to playing them? Have a good one? All right, thank you. Thank you, Shoes. Okay, I guess we should play it. I've heard that that's actually their street name. Shoes is this person's street name because they always used to show up wearing shoes.
Oh, yeah. Mean
so all their friends are like, hey, Shoe, look at Shoes over here. All right, let's play it.
Joey Shoes.
Hey guys, this is Shoes, a returning listener. Earlier this month, I read an article about how Epic Games gave out over $2,000 worth of games in 2023. I realized that I've been downloading their free games from them since they started that program, but never did anything with them. I decided to sort my library of games into different categories of what to play, what I can and cannot run on my system, and reading reviews of games that look interesting to see if they're worth my time. I have a total of 380 games, and I've purchased exactly 1 game from them, Disco Elysium, which is on sale. The question is, do you guys download quote-unquote free games from surfaces like Epic, PlayStation Plus, or GOG? And do you ever get around to playing them? Have a good one.
Thank you, Shoes. I own exactly 1 game on Epic, and it's Death Stranding because it was free.
Yeah. Sure.
That was during their holiday, their whatever, what that event is they do.
Yeah.
I also own Fallout 1 and 2 and Fallout Tactics on GOG as well. For the same reason. They were free at one point in like 2014. Oh, remember, wasn't there a licensing issue in 2014 or 2015 where those games were briefly free?
Nope.
Okay, disregard. PlayStation Plus, I finally jumped off. I was on PS Plus for a long time, for like 8 or 9 years, and I'm now finally at a place where like nobody plays these games at the bar that I have from PS Plus. Yeah. I don't play these games anymore. It's not worth $60 a year for whatever this basic package is, so I just kind of let it go. What about you?
Same with me. I let it go, even though I do appreciate cloud saving. I'd like to not pay for that, though, in general.
Yeah.
Microsoft does it right. You don't pay for cloud saves or anymore on Xbox stuff, so that's been great. And, of course, Steam also integrates it depending on the game, and Epic as well, depending on the game. As far as like getting the free games, I get them quite often. The quote-unquote free ones, like, if you pay for the subscription first, no, I like, again, PlayStation Plus, Amazon Prime gives out games. Their stuff is pretty hit or miss. But I've gotten plenty from them as well. And Epic. Yeah, of course I do it. Have I played them was the second question. Do you play them that much?
Oh, God, yeah.
Well, I guess no, but I do make sure when something appealing is like on deep discount, I do have to go and check to make sure that I didn't get it for free previously. I almost did that with like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 enhanced editions.
Oh.
Because they were on GOG for like $2, but then I checked my Amazon library and it's like, oh, I got them off Amazon before. So, yeah, got to be careful about that. I think I've actually purchased 3 games on Epic. Yeah, something like that. A mistake, to be sure. Quite a mistake. But yeah, I'd rather just have that on Steam, because then, the Steam Deck came out after I bought those games. Like, oh yeah, now I gotta finagle and fumble with third-party apps and shit to get it running on the Steam Deck properly. And it's like, no, it's not worth it. That's not why I bought the thing. That's not why I have a Steam Deck. I'd rather have ease of use, people. Hello. But that's the mess I've made.
Yeah, I have accumulated games through various services and not played all of them. And it's that tendency for us to jump on sales. It's like, we have all either complained or listened to people complaining about Steam sale. Like, here comes another Steam sale. Oh no, my wallet. I'm going to buy a bunch of games and not play them. Because people do this a lot.
You're right.
And I thought I was impervious to it. I'm not. I just opened up Steam. Let's take a look at the games I own that I've never played. Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Arrest of a Stone Buddha. Oh, and the other two, Fading Afternoon and The Friends of Ringo Ishikawa. I bought those because they were on sale recently from that dude. Deus Ex, Game of the Year Edition. Okay, and I think that's it. So it's not too many, but I don't own that many Steam games to begin with.
Right.
But I'm conditioned. I'm conditioned to add things to my wish list, and then when I get the email, it's like, hey, this thing on your wish list is 30% off. I'm like, well, I guess this is the time to buy it. So like, their tactic is working on me 100%.
Right.
However, I'm also going to be making streaming more of like a revenue source for me, which means I do need games to play on stream, and I do want to play those games. So yeah, I'll get to them eventually.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't buy a lot of games if I'm not going to play them that day.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Like Tetris plus Bomb Bliss.
Are you just looking at a cartridge in front of you?
Smash TV.
Summon Night 6.
Or, Dragon's Magic. Do you know what game that is? It's a...
You caught me on the spot.
Yeah, it's a Super Famicom game. It's a Japanese port of a Western game. The Japanese title is Dragon's Magic.
Yeah, I've heard the name. I just don't remember much about it.
What if I gave you the greatest hint of all, written on the cartridge, copyright 1990, Bluth Group Limited.
Oh, Dragon's Lair. That's right, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Dragon's Magic?
Yeah, what?
Street Fighter 2 Turbo. It'll never catch up. Space Invaders, the original game. Treasure Hunter G. Breath of Fire. All right, these are all very tobacco stained. I bought half a gallon of isopropyl alcohol from Amazon that just arrived that I'm going to use to scrub those boys down.
Yeah, it's not going to fix the staining.
I got gauze.
Yeah.
It's going to help. I got gauze. I got tissues. I got Q-tips. I mean, I also have bleach for the super stubborn stuff.
Right.
There's not like my options on the labels themselves are limited because I don't want to like fuck up the ink, but for the plastic, I can get them looking pretty good. 805-669-8255. Pick up the phone.
Still didn't get the name on the caller.
Yes, so I'm just gonna assume this person is Shoes. Wait, hang on, let me play this again.
Hey guys, this is Shoes, a returning listener.
No, that's Shoes. Yeah, that's Shoes. This person's name is Shoes.
All right.
Hey, Jimmy Shoes. Hey, nice shoes.
Joey Loafer.
I'm something of a loafer myself.
Very good. All right, well, that's fan fun.
And a loaf.
I guess that's the end of the show.
That's fan fun. I think that's the end of the show. Thank you everyone for showing up, for putting in the hours, putting in the work, for digging down deep, for getting in there with us down in the cultural trenches. I don't think sentences out before I start.
No, you definitely don't. And well, neither do I. That's why we work so well together. Anyway, thanks everybody for listening. You can go to our website, nomorewhoppers.com, to find everything important, including a link to our Patreon. But I'll just tell you, it's also patreon.com/nomorewhoppers. You can subscribe for $1 a month just to be a cool gold subscriber, or give us $5 a month to get this podcast early, as well as access to our now 2 bonus shows, Gold in 16 Seconds, and our new currently going series, A Game Site About Nothing, the Crunk Games podcast. Our personal recollection of our time trying to be fake game journalists in 2003 and 4 and 5.
And Golden 16 Seconds kind of starts out, the first half of it is us just kind of listening to commercials on YouTube from 2003, and then it does sort of evolve into its own thing. So, hey, stick with it. Maybe, sign up for us.
I would say
put that
devolve into its own thing, but it's just a matter of word choice.
Ages like a fine cheese. I would say go for it.
Yeah.
I'm also
just to remind everybody, it was Alex's idea.
Yeah. I am going to be starting a Patreon for myself, for my stuff, around this summer. It's intended to support me once the bar closes, because I am going to be diving full time into, I don't know, Alex-based content, let's call it that, which means streaming and YouTube videos, and I would like to make another podcast in addition to this. All of that is going to be funded on Patreon. What? What do you mean what?
Another podcast?
You knew about this.
Without me?
No, I mean, you'll show up on it, certainly.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's called Good Morning San Jose. I kind of hoped you would participate. What
Against my will?
Yeah. Right, get up. We gotta record. How's the weather? Look out the fucking window, you jackass. All right.
It's sunny.
It's another beautiful day. That is not up and running yet, and I'm going to say this a million more times, but like, if you already give to the Nomobo Patreon, don't worry if you're not also kicking into mine, because this Patreon also needs it, because we want to continue doing this show, but, it takes time and effort, and etc. My Patreon is going to just be, hey, if you like the jackassery that Alex does, you could also toss him a few bucks. I'll announce that properly when it launches later this summer. That Patreon is going to feature early access to YouTube videos that I make, but since it's not there yet and I have a video coming up, I am, with Ray's permission, going to put it up on the Nomobo Patreon as a Gold subscriber bonus for folks who want to see the early version of that video. I guess we should have ironed that out off the air. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, well, best of luck getting my permission.
Damn it! All right, well, I got to put the paperwork in, I guess. It's all about the paperwork. That's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and until then, you can find me at patui.org. All my stuff is linked from there. That's also my Blue Sky. That's all I got. Ray, what about you?
Well, you really jumped ahead in our outroll there, but
I like to mix it up sometimes.
We also have a Discord server. You can find the link on our website. Everybody's free to join.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Come on in. Say hi.
Yeah, drop kick your jacket as you walk through the door.
Drop kick your jacket.
Yeah.
Why?
I was quoting the Mr. Belvedere theme.
You were...
I thought you would get it.
Those are the lyrics?
Yes. What did you think they were? What did you think the lyrics were?
Alex, I have to admit,
okay,
I've not really seen Mr. Belvedere.
What?
Well,
thanks for listening to the last episode of No More Whoppers, everybody.
Listen, when it was on in its prime, I was going to bed at like 7 p.m.
You were a good kid. What happened?
I didn't get to see a lot of sitcoms for a while because they were all at like 8 o'clock and so on. TGIF, yes, but even then it was post Belvedere TGIF. Speaking
of Blue Sky, underappreciated posts was your TGIF Jammer Lammy crossover joke, which really good.
Not really a joke, just more like a thing that got stuck in my head.
Made me laugh.
All right, good. Okay. Merchandise for No More Whoppers. Shop.spreadshirt.com/No More Whoppers. We got shirts and buttons and stickers and good things for you to buy and support us further. And of course, our phone number, 805-NMW-TALK. You can ask us questions about things that we've done in video games.
Yeah,
for
like,
example,
did I beat
how
Mario
many
1?
games have we bought?
Yeah.
Not bought?
How far have I gotten in the original Mario Brothers?
Yeah, exactly. That'd be great.
How far have
I'd
I gotten?
love to know.
How far have I gotten in? What do we got over here? Web browser for Dreamcast.
Have you played Orchestra's Ring? Things like that.
Okay.
No, don't. Wait till someone
God.
calls and
I'm
asks.
giving it away for free.
Fuck, yes. Well, the phone number is also free, but
That's
podcast too. Anyway, I'm on the internet. My main link page is rdbaaa.space, but I am mostly on Blue Sky as well nowadays, but you can find it there anyway. And yep, still selling video games as Bipedal Dog. Bipedal.dog is the website for my indie games. Thanks very much. I was on Retronauts fairly recently. It's been a few weeks now, but I was talking about the what was called the cruelest challenges in gaming. And I got to talk up Nightmare of Jiraga, which is a great PS2 game. And yeah, just play that. If you could do anything after this show, if you haven't listened to Retronauts either, just play Nightmare of Jiraga on PlayStation 2. Thanks. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay,
I think
good, Alex.
Was it a couple months ago? I've already mentioned this, but you can hear me talk about Slime Mori Mori Dragon Quest Rocket Slime. Because that's the only game in the series I've played. That's a fun Retronauts romp.
Yeah.
I'd
love to do more podcasts. Do you have a podcast that you do? Not you, Alex.
Oh.
You already laid out your plan.
Yes.
Listen, we're here. We'd love to be guests. I don't think we talk about that enough, but we haven't been guests on another kind of show for a while. So
yeah, I'm down.
It'd be nice. Back when we were on those networks, they tried to encourage people doing cross promotion in such a way. And
I feel bad because. I feel bad because I was actually talking to the Hardcore Gaming 101 people because I said I wanted to be on an episode, and they said, cool, that sounds awesome. Here's our list of games that we are going to cover in the future. Just pick a game and you can have that episode. And I could never pick a game and never responded to them, and here we are several years later.
You couldn't even fake it.
I couldn't even fake it. Yeah, I'm not good. Not good, but if you have a podcast that's about something specific and you already know what the topic for an episode is and you'd like one of us to participate, ask one or both of us. You remember back in the 90s, there was an epidemic of TV shows coming and taking over your school. We will do that to your podcast. Alex and Ray take over your podcast.
Yeah, right.
Enter today.
And then we'll have a shopping spree at Toys R Us.
Yes! God, Dad, do you remember that? That was all over the place.
The take over your school thing?
Yes,
or the toy?
It was date. I had a friend get killed by Omar Gooding.
Oh no!
It was wild and crazy.
I thought he was cool. What? No.
No.
Man.
Yes.
So none of the Goodings are good. Oh, jeez.
I watched.
Really done a number on me.
I watched John Stamos burn down a Steak and Shake. That's how out of hand these things can get. We'll do that to your podcast. We'll bring the same kind of energy and chaos if you just have us on.
Sweet Valley High came, and now I'm Sweet Valley dead. Well, Alex, that's the show. Thanks for being a good sport.
Anytime.
Everybody else, keep your nose clean. We'll see you next time. Gold subscribers, stick around till after the show. Reformed forger Milton Swank shows us how he and others faked admission to the Burger King Kids Club.
We're gonna have some fun, show you how it's done, TGIF.